Hello, this is Jimbo. I figured I should do an introduction to this next podcast. It's a group of guys from the South Dakota Air National Guard, and they work in my former shop, the Aircrew Flight Equipment Shop. And one of them is going to be leaving us with his wife out to California, and he's taking a job to work the alert detachment out there. So this group of guys got together as kind of a farewell to him, and you're going to see the bonds that are built in the military family with people that work together. Now, I'm going to warn you, there's language in it, and just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. And you're also going to see a pretty teary ending at the end, which also shows that bond that people have. And at the closing, after the closing music, there's what they call B-roll, or it's the extra footage. I believe they wanted to see it, but I've got it at the end. You're welcome to go take a look at it if you like. It's fairly lengthy, but it's just some of the fun that we had when we took breaks and things as well. So you'll also notice that the guy that's leaving us, Jaden, also has a resemblance to Rooster Bradshaw in the movie Top Gun Maverick. So I visually had a little bit of fun with that as well during the second break. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of good times, some emotion at the end, and I just hope that you enjoy it. All right, take care. Hello, this is Jimbo from the YouTube channel Jimbo South Dakota and the Hog House Chronicles podcast. And we are doing the first podcast, besides practice ones, on the bar in the Hog House. And we have three guys from my former shop at the South Dakota Air National Guard, the Aircrew Flight Equipment Shop. And we've got Jaden, Brandon, and Todd. And Jaden's going to be changing some stuff in his life here, and we're going to get to that. But at first, we'll just start out. Each of you can just say whatever you want about your family, only as deep as you like. And then we're going to start moving into how you got interested in the military. So go ahead and do family and how you got introduced to the military and how you started getting in.
Yeah, so I am Jaden, and I... Here we go.
Is that
I'm
third
not going to edit
person?
that out.
No, that's third person
so,
right there.
I got married in 2020 during COVID, and I live in Baltic right now, and I'm going to have some life changes, as Jimbo said. But yeah, I joined the shop in 2017, and haven't looked back since. But yeah, that's who I am.
You got married during COVID.
I did, yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
You came up on one of the previous podcasts because you had to wait almost a year from getting back from basic to tech school. Is that right?
I did, yeah. I got back from basic. I was, I think they call it pipeline, right?
Yeah, we tried to do pipeline.
Tried to do pipeline and break and training. Came back home for about 9 months till October, and I ended up going to tech school, and that was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie, going from the guard side of it and active duty to the guard side, and then back to active duty again in that training setting, and it was eye opening to say the least. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was very difficult.
Yeah, I'm curious, like that pipeline period, like you were a great worker during that period, right? No problems in that, right?
Not at all.
I knew you and Bradshaw never had any issues or run-ins with law enforcement or
no problems with Jim. Never had any problems with law enforcement. I did have problems with law enforcement one time.
Yeah, we talked about that last weekend.
Yep. I did one time, and
no, I said only bring up what you want to bring up. So.
We'll handle the rest.
Friends like that.
I will say, to keep the records clear, it was an underage. We all do it. Most people, 96, 69% of the people probably do it, and I just got caught, so that's that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, the thing is, we all do it, but none of us get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.9% of people actually get caught.
Minor
so.
detail
I
there.
still underage drink, actually.
I'm not sure if that was his commander brief. I doubt it.
Was this at a Billy Currington concert? Or?
Okay, just don't get caught.
I apologize, Duke. It won't happen again.
All right, Brandon, how'd you get interested?
Are we talking about family first?
Yep,
How did I get interested in family?
got me.
I hope you have enough footage.
Yeah, no, I have 3 children. Just got married for the second time back in December, so that's going very well for once in my life. Yeah, I mean, and then of course I have my guard family, so I got a bunch of great people that I get to work with every single day, and I know gonna be gotta watch member move on to their next chapter of their life. That's going to be some processing there, but it's kind of like, watching your brother graduate high school and move off to college and doing their own thing too. You got to encourage it, but watch them along the way and be there to help them if they still need some help. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you want to hear about, like family, like
Only what bunches you want to say.
Oh,
that's
okay,
all.
I mean,
What you're legally able to
I
say?
have a grandma, a grandpa.
How old are your kids?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a 13-year-old.
What's your mother's maiden name?
13-year-old son, 7-year-old daughter, and a 5-month-old son.
Nice. So how'd you get interested in the military? How'd you find out about the Guard? Because a lot of people aren't even aware of it.
Well, I mean, so I guess my experience was I had a lot of family in the military, a lot of Army, Green Berets, just, I did not want any part of it. Did not care about it. I grew up with, my father was a deputy for 24 years of my life, and I did not like the authority. I very much grew up in a home that was, the word is law. There ain't much movement. So the thought of doing something like that in my adult life, being the military, going that route, no way in hell. So we get to whatever grade it is, you do the ASVAB. I don't remember because I didn't care. And I remember doing that and just going, I don't care. I'm not doing the military. No hell, no way, no chance. And did the ASVAB, scored very low because I just went, whatever. We filled it out. Didn't care.
Yeah, that's why.
I know this.
No.
And then
C on every answer.
yeah, I did not care. It's funny where things take you, and how looking back now, there's just things that just kind of come up and you act upon it. But so I grew up in northern South Dakota, right on the North Dakota border, middle of nowhere, South Dakota, and we went to a career day in Watertown, which was an hour and a half away or so, and I didn't care. I wanted to farm. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't care anything about that career day. I didn't care who said what or nothing. And it just so happened that there was a booth set up, and it was the South Dakota Air Guard. And a couple of my buddies and I kind of just sitting there and talking, and it helped that there was a female recruiter, though. I can tell you that right now. I won't say who it was because they still work out there. Not as a recruiter anymore, but so I, I'm like, wow, you can do this. I can still farm, and I can come do this once a month. And I didn't care about the school benefits. Don't get me wrong; it's great for some people. I'm not one of them. But I could still farm and go to Sioux Falls once a month and insurance, and wow, that's just a great thing. And then I was hooked. I was ready to do it. So I start the process, talked to my recruiter, and they're like, "Yeah, you need to take that ASVAB test again." I'm like, "Nah, I figured."
Should have cared more about them school credits.
Yeah, should have cared, one thing I could take away from my high school experience is care more about the ASVAB score. That's it. You take that for what you will. And if I wouldn't have, if that hook wouldn't have got me and I wouldn't have taken the bait, a lot of things evolved from that I never would have known. And even starting in my military career, I won't get too far into it if we're going to do something like that later. But the path that I've been on just in my career alone in the military, I eventually found my calling that I never would have known that was there. And even to people that are friends of mine that are military but not directly, working with me and stuff like that, or have a history in the Air Force, and good, because I have some very good friends from high school and stuff that went active duty, and I talked to them about stuff and the things that happened. They're just like, you are where you should be.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have had that. Yep. Would have just been some farmer.
Yeah, I was really, and you didn't come into our shop right away, but when you did come over, I saw everything in you that you were talking about there. But I remember talking to you like he had his delay, you had your delay, and you were in our shop, and we had so many things going on. And I apologized to you afterward, later on for it, but you kind of fell through the cracks on a lot of training and stuff, and we had you behind of no fault of your own on the training side of the thing. So I'll apologize again for that right now.
But
that's your fault, actually.
That's the first apologize.
And it's
of many.
It's funny you bring that
don't
up.
ever ask for one.
It's funny you bringing that up, because even today, at the end of the day, Jaden and I were talking at work about that kind of thing, and how one individual may come along where it makes you rethink how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I have no fault on you for what you did or did not do. Like, I didn't view it in that way of like, oh, it's your fault. You know what I mean? It's I took it as an experience of my own to go, okay, learning from prior career field, this career field, what not to do. Like, you learn from every supervisor what to do. You learn a little what to do, what not to do, and you make it your own.
And you can grab the throttle a little bit yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Drive that train a little bit. Yeah.
I digress.
All right. Todd and I are meeting eyes over here.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's my turn, huh?
What say you?
Oh, man.
Oh, I got to take a break before
That might be tinkle break here.
Child's bladder.
Let's see. How did I get in? Let's see. What's that?
Family.
Family. Oh, okay. Well,
Family.
Like, we're talking about my parents' family, or are we talking about my current family?
Yeah, talk about your current family.
Current family? Okay.
Sure, man.
So,
Like I said on the first podcast, you don't have to go back to the earth cooled.
oh, wow.
So my
Because he probably could.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
my great grandfather
yeah.
Stefan came from Austria in 70.
So wife and two kids. I got 10-year-old now and 7-year-old.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, it is.
know.
Help me. I'm getting old there, man. I have a hard time remembering this shit.
That's for sure. That's why I'm your flight chief.
No. Yes. Fact. They kind of play into the middle of my story, though, compared to a lot of other people. So I kind of have to go way back on mine. But no, military. Like, I grew up a military brat, in a sense. Like, my dad was Army Guard in South Dakota. So
I had forgotten that.
yeah. So my dad did 34 years. He retired in 2004. And I got two older brothers, and one of them went active duty. I think I lost my mic. One went active duty in 95. My oldest brother, though, he joined in 92, I think it was. He was in the Guard, and he retired out of the Guard. So me being the youngest, the baby, and having a very military-centric family, there was a lot of expectation and pressure to join the Guard. And I was that asshole that was no, I'm going to go to school and rack up a bunch of debt. And I did just that. Yeah, I did like the ASVAB stuff in high
Worth
school.
it.
Worth it, yeah. No, I did the college for a while, and I did the ASVAB in high school, and I don't know, from my perception, like when you take the ASVAB in high school, it's like it was with the Navy that I did mine. And I don't believe the test that they brought in because they're like, you could be like a nuclear sub guy. I feel like
You don't want that though.
it's like, what's 3 times 5? It's like, you are a nuclear sub technician.
And welcome.
So I just kind of discount it, but I think I took
Is that
the
a
ASVAB.
diss on the Navy?
Yeah, maybe it was a little bit, but so I took the ASVAB test, like practice one in high school, and to kind of like, they're going to gauge you. It's not official. But really it was more like, I had seen the military and experienced. My dad was in Desert Storm. So I got to experience as a kid, my dad being gone sporadically. So when I did that, I viewed it more like, I don't want to do this, but it gets me out of like a period of high school to not have to take class like Brit Lit or something like that. So I went and took it, and I had no intentions of joining. But then I went to college, and I learned really quick that I had no intentions of going to class either. So I just racked up a bunch of debt and just enjoyed the time there. And then I went and I took the actual ASVAB, and I think I kind of got to the point where I wasn't mature enough to be in college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I viewed like joining the military as like a 4-year paid cushion for me to figure that out. And so I took the ASVAB, and I went in open general, and I actually scored, unlike you, pretty well on the ASVAB. And I remember specifically.
I'm pretty sure both my scores together meshed more than yours.
Yeah. So like, I remember I got to basic training, and like, again, I had this like party mentality when I got to basic training, and that didn't clash very well with my instructor. But I do remember being an open general person. Like, I had no idea what I was going to be doing. And he went around the room, was like, what's your AFSC? What are you going to be? And he got to me, and I was like, open general. He goes, what was your ASVAB score? And when I spouted that out, everybody that said open general was like, cop, you're gonna be security forces. You're like everybody. And he got to me, and he goes, not cop. And that wasn't really that helpful. Like, it was because I scored.
Wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong. But like what was weird about the ASVAB though was like, they give you some bullshit like rank what you want thing. And like, I literally went to school to be a meteorologist, like when I went to college. So I had some experience in that stuff. And that was like my number one. And I didn't get that. I got AFE. And I didn't have a clue what the hell that was. I just knew it wasn't.
I don't remember a damn thing from the ASVAB.
Actually, it was life support. It was life support back in the day. But you know what? It wasn't a cop. So he was right on that. So, but this was on active duty. So then I go to basic, or I get done with basic. I go to tech school. I'm at Shepherd doing life support 6.5 weeks. And by that point, I think my mentality shifted to like, I'm going to do 4 years, and then I'll know what I want to do with my life.
Did you say that you're doing the active duty route?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I just did now though.
Okay. I'm just clarifying, I guess.
Yes, I did active duty.
I mean,
I didn't know if you said it, so I'm just making sure, because you did a different route than both of us did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came in active duty, and my mentality was, I want to get 4 years in, and that's going to buy me time where I'm going to get paid to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life. And at that point, my mentality shifted to like, I didn't know what life support was at the time. I had no clue. Somebody was like, you could jump out of planes. Yeah, they were full of shit.
A lot of people think it's medical.
Yeah, like,
because
life
of the
support,
old
yeah.
name.
yeah, you'd get phone calls and be like, hey, is this the hospital? I'm like, no, this is pretty far from that, but you can talk to the OG if you want. But
We used to have
like,
oxygen.
yeah,
I could put a tourniquet on.
I missed out on that by like just a little bit. We went from the MQ1s, but I digress. So at that point, my mentality shifted to like, not only am I going to do 4 years, but I want to go someplace that's not the middle of the United States. Like, I want to see something other than cornfields and like experience something before I make that decision. And they stuck me at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. Well, so it's like a rednecky version of South Dakota.
Nice.
Yes.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
so-
I love that thing.
So
love
like
it.
I'm more of like an optimistic type person. So like I try to see the positives of things. Like I would find a way to make mine not seem enjoyable in my head. That's kind of a stretch there, but like I viewed like Whiteman being like it's B2s. I had to look up what that plane was. And then also I was near Kansas City. So I was like, I'm near something that their suburbs are bigger than the biggest city in South Dakota. So I was like, that's a win in some case, but I'm still like in the plains. I'm still like in the middle of the United States. So, so I did 8 years down there and I got to experience, a very different world than what we experience now, from a bomber community, an active duty community. Deployments for them is more vacations type stuff, but I gained a lot of perspective on like program stuff. The one thing I will say from the active duty that differs from the Guard is we don't on active duty have Jim Bradshaws who are there from like, World War One until
Civil War.
the end
Wait,
of
wait,
the
mean
terror.
Civil War, right?
Yes, yeah.
Loser.
Global Civil War till the end of global war on terror. Like
Brandon likes these buttons.
That's great.
So it was like as soon as you just started warming up to a
It worked.
boss, like as soon as you started warming up to a boss, like they were getting orders to Korea or someplace. So like you always had to like be on your toes and adapt to people. So you learned a lot of like what you were talking about, where you learn a little bit of good and bad from your bosses and shit like that. Like you get plenty of practice on
It's not
active
shit.
duty.
It's real, dude. It's real stuff, man.
It is
ain't
real
shit.
stuff. Like, but you get like you get a lot of the bad with the good. But some of these guys that become your bosses are like 13-year staff sergeants.
Really?
Well played.
Fireball.
I being at Whiteman, it was a lot of where I'm at today though is a lot of it is based on time and just luck.
I'm pretty sure where you're at because of Jim.
Well, let me get to that. Hold on.
Just that one step.
Hold on. So an interesting thing happened when I was at Whiteman, and that was the St. Louis unit, the Guard unit out of there got bracked, and they got sent to Whiteman. And so I got a bunch of old crusty F-15 dudes that came to Whiteman. And
With, at that time, well over 60 years of experience
exactly,
combined.
hence the old crusty aspect of that.
We'll see if I get a call on this.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you get a call.
I hope so, actually. But no, it was interesting because like there's a lot of clashing mentalities because you had an active duty base that essentially was about to get smashed by a bunch of Guard people that have, it's just like if Sioux Falls moved to Ellsworth.
Yes, total force integration where
Yeah.
the Guard and active duty is put together.
And there was a lot, there was a lot of clashing that took place initially there. So it was like as long as you stayed in like that buffer zone of like don't piss people off enough, and you have like a laid back attitude to them, and you're not overly active duty centric, you could you'd mesh really well. And so I was able to hit it off pretty well with most of them, and at that point, I decided at 8 years I was done. Like I was done active duty, but I wasn't ready to be done with the military necessarily. But using those connections I gained from St. Louis, they were able to put in reference with Jimbo here, so that I was able to leave active duty, go back to college, and join the Guard.
How did that happen though?
What's that?
Like the tie-in. Like how did that?
Well, he had
You know what I'm saying?
he'd gone on trips with them before, and he knew them pretty well. And
I
he
knew them really well.
Yeah,
But he grew up in Vermillion, which is close to here, so he could leave active duty, get in the Guard, and be close to home.
Yeah. And so I came back to go to school, and amazingly, after 8 years of being an active duty, I still didn't have a fucking clue what I was going to do.
Because I was always under the assumption that like you came back here purely on the fact that you grew up around this area.
Yeah, I came back here because it was familiar.
Right.
A lot of it was I just wanted to go. I want to go back to college. I want to be someplace semi-familiar. The problem with active duty is like I made a lot of really good friends on active duty as I kind of rose up from airmen's up. But on active duty, everybody gets orders, and everybody that you work with is from like like your shop will have 5 people. One guy's from Idaho, the other person's from Arizona, the other person's from upstate New York, and another person's from Florida. And you get about 2 to 3 years of them, and then they're either going to get out or they're going to get orders someplace else. So like the friendships you make, they end up spread throughout the country. So it's hard for you to have a lot of like close rooted people where you're at and maintain that, because they're all either going back home or they're getting orders.
Or later in your career, when you go to conferences and things, you end up, I've witnessed a lot of reunions with people who hadn't seen each other for 12 years, but then when they get together, it's like yesterday, you know,
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I ended up coming back and it was kind of a far shot. Like I didn't have any guarantees in place, but I know it was Paul Carney, half man. I think he reached out to you and he said I was the greatest person you've ever seen. And you
yeah, Pork Chop might have said that too.
Yeah.
I don't know about Chief Snyder.
Yeah.
He had to talk with you before he let you come up.
Jeff Schneider and I love Jeff because he will eat away your night in a story, but like the guy's got a great background. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
He's there for you and you need it. But he definitely holds you to account. But yeah, like Wilson, Pork Chop, like absolutely, like him and I butted heads, and I think that I gained his respect in that, kind of pushing back because he was very much like the TO back to front type of guy.
Oh, very smart. All 3 of those guys.
Were you staff sergeant at the time?
I was a staff at the time. So then I came back and I was going to school, and by that point I was actually doing actual schoolwork and stuff like that. And I never had really any intentions of becoming a full timer.
So you went straight to the guard.
Famous last
You
words.
were a guardsman.
Yeah, I was just a straight guardsman.
Okay.
But then I found that like life is expensive when you don't have an active duty paycheck coming. So I became like a full timer.
And that 25% interest rate on your car. You were driving
I
around.
paid that. I had that paid off. I was terrible. I was an accounting major who was terrible at keeping track of my bank account.
Yeah.
That's why I was going to school, is to get smarter at that stuff. But I ended up being like a permanent, like a full timer via temp tech. Like I take the one pay period off between each, and then essentially start up another long stint of temp tech, and then eventually, as luck would have it, people die and retire and stuff like that, and you end up with a full timer.
That's the way it used to be. Nowadays,
Like-
people move around a lot more.
So then I got a full-time job, and I, deployed and made the most of that. I learned the fighter world from the bomber world, and I thanked Jim by immediately transferring back to Missouri. No, I had an opportunity to go back to Missouri, and it was, I think at that point, in the shop, we had a lot of like people that had a lot of time, and there wasn't a lot of movement availability for me. And so I think I saw an opening, and I reached out to Pork Chop, and I got hired to come back down to Missouri because it gave me an opportunity to kind of progress where there wasn't a whole lot ahead of me sitting in South Dakota. So I did that, and I went down to Missouri, and I had a lot of great friendships that were still there. And I got to get some more perspective, because at that point I got to work with active duty. So I still kind of got that, like, there's a bunch of people cycling through stuff of the active duty. But I could ignore them because like they're active duty and I'm guard, and just be like, that's not my problem. But I got a lot of mentorship from like Tim Wilson, and at that point Carney retired. And then an opportunity happened when Jimbo called me and said, hey, you want to come back, or we have an opening, or any interest in coming back. I think it was probably more of a,
Sure. Start soft.
Yeah, starts off.
And then throw the lasso.
I need you.
Please
No.
come back.
I'm pretty sure it started with Todd at an AFECT in Sioux Falls, just being like, you need to get a master AGR in here, and you'll see some movement. And it was how long after that came in through fruition, and now you're
Planting
here.
seeds, man. Planting
Yeah,
seeds.
you are the master of planting seeds. That's all I got to
No,
say, man.
I did come back for the AFECT, and I remember like Bones saw me, and like he was shocked to see me. And I think Nate was the commander at the time,
Hey, you used to work here.
and he was like giving his big spiel, which a Nate spiel is very like, "Hey guys, welcome to Sioux Falls.
And he says,
Hold on, I need a smoke break. You know? But he's like, he's giving this spiel, and he's like, hey, Todd. And I was like, oh, man, wow. I'm like, that's a pretty good memory there. But I do remember having conversations with you. I think it was Angela at the time, and it was like, you guys are like, yeah, we're staff AGRs. And I'm like, oh, okay, when are you going to make tech? And you're like, oh, this is it.
No idea.
No idea. And I was like, you need to work on that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, fast forward like a year after that, then I think Jimbo reached out to me and was like, hey, you have any interest in possibly coming back? And as luck would have it, sure as hell did. And my wife was all about it. It was probably more my wife that brought us back because I loved Missouri, the guys I worked with and stuff like that. I still am in good contact with them today. But my family.
I'll talk about it.
They've
Just
got
from
some info.
from our perspective, I should say. So when that master sergeant position dropped, we were in Afghanistan. Jaden and I
Correct.
were in Afghanistan, and honestly, it didn't even occur to me, based on I guess solely based on the events that were happening right in front of my face. I didn't even think about you.
I give you some backstory here.
I
that
said, who the
Bradshaw
fuck
here
is
can-
Todd Anderson?
Jimbo
That was me at
Jimbo
the time.
here. I might get some insider information. Jimbo can either agree or deny to it. But
We were freaking out about. We're on the other side of the planet. And we're like, let's. I didn't know. Like, I took off a stripe just to get AGR. So I'm like, I know I ain't gonna
you
get
got to
it.
learn to play the game better, man.
Yeah. Well, I think I played very well.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
But you know, there we had a master sergeant guardsman with us on that trip. That was like literally going. That's for me. The commander called me. He said,
Now,
"You ready for this?" You know, that I'm like, what? No way.
now Jim can
is not happening.
correct me on this. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of dive into maybe some of your thought process.
I
here.
heard that.
See if I remember.
See if you remember. So I think Jim reached out to me, and it was him and Notch. It was on the 5th of July, I believe. I know I was in the Black Hills at this time with my family on a trip.
Rain Man over here with the dates.
I'm pretty good with numbers, like I say.
He loves the buttons.
I do.
That's just great.
I do.
Great timing. I love it.
I should pay attention to your fingers over there. I know when they're coming. But I think you reached out, and the initial thought was the shop needed a change. Correct me if I'm wrong. Needed some
freshness.
And so my wife and I had always talked about if there's an opportunity to come back and it was right, we would strongly consider that. And I think there was a struggle at first because I think you were trying to get MPA days from NGB and Muggs was up there, and we were working that as a possibility, and then it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, those weren't the most reliable.
Yeah. And so I think I remember on a phone call talking to you, and this was more me speaking in general, just to have be interest, including myself. But like, to me, being in Missouri, like the Missouri technician pay and the technician pay in South Dakota was very vastly different. And so to come back, I mean, as much as we wanted to come back, it was almost like South Dakota was like the worst technician paying state in the country.
Yeah, because we have nothing here for manufacturing or
so
anything to compare to.
But it's great.
But I think I think
Cold and it's
So
great.
nice.
Loser.
but and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. But my thought was
The
that
story I'm telling myself is
you guys probably came to a realization if you guys wanted what you wanted back here as that fresh change, you were probably going to need to have like an AGR of some sort. And it just happened to line up well with the AGR conversion as well.
Yeah, that was all
Yeah.
going on at the same time.
Yeah. And so that came as well. So I think I don't think it's a matter of me per se, but I think it was, if you really want to get what you want out of it, you're going to have to make a sacrifice in some sense. And it just happened to line up well with the AGRs. I mean, if you go 5 years back, that equation doesn't play in. There's no AGR or master sergeant or anything like that.
There's always risk involved with moving forward with your life.
Yeah. And so that was what brought me back was I think, you guys were in Afghanistan and that dropped. And I will say that when that prior to that coming out, Jimbo sent me a text, and it was just a Master Sergeant AGR will be coming out shortly. That was it. That's all he ever said, and I never heard again until we did the interview. But it was just a heads up, like, just so you're aware.
I can't thank you enough, Jimbo, for reaching out to him. Because honestly, like, I don't know what we would have as a shop right now if it wasn't for that. Like, if Todd,
Kudos to you, man. Look at that.
With you not noticing the potential
I might cry here.
for somebody who's
I'm out.
maybe not worth the praise, but you know,
No, but I'm going to give it to him
but
anyway.
yeah, no, it's like, I mean, so
Your
real quick,
EPR just became a 5.
I mean, so like you talking about all that and me thinking back to like when we were in, like, I honestly didn't think about you when we heard about that when we were in Afghanistan. I wasn't thinking about.
Well, you think about people that are currently in your
exactly,
shop.
that's what I'm saying. And then we also are halfway around the world when that happened,
Yeah.
right? So we have at the time a current
Disconnect.
disconnect, but we have a DSG that's like that's for me, and
That
I'm
was
like,
strategic.
That was
Actions.
strategic, by the way. That way, you guys couldn't get like all the required items for
dude,
applying.
that's
It
fine
was
because
like-
nobody could.
I
Nobody could.
applied, but I was 9.5 hours behind. So
You're also a A1C at the time, but
and you're in Afghanistan. It's not like you don't have anything else going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of us there, except for the one individual who was like, that's for me. The commander said, he called me and said, and we were honestly, probably for lack of a better term, we were shitting bricks. Like, I hope to God that you are wrong. It is not for you.
That didn't even make sense. So
You know what I mean?
You just
And-
blow that up.
Yeah.
yeah,
and-
because we knew you were on your way out, so it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because I was at Afghanistan. I was
18.
within a year
18.
of
Yes.
me leaving, I think. Right?
Yeah, it was
so it's
tight.
2.5. It was
getting
2.5 years later
Oh,
you retired.
'Cause
2.5. Okay, I was only 6 months into group chief by then.
Yeah,
But
so
I had
like-
the office out in the hallway.
I had, I'd been full time in the shop for only a little over a year. Pretty sure. Little over a year. Been full time in the shop. And like I said before, like, I was a tech sergeant, took off the stripe willingly to promote to the AGR staff sergeant, but better pay than tech sergeant at technician WG9 or whatever it was. I don't even know.
WG10,
WG
step
no,
5,
was
step
it?
3 probably, but yeah,
It was
WG10.
9 a while
don't
back.
remember.
Then it
long
went to
time.
10.
It was definitely
I was only a
10s when you were
technician for
there.
8 months, so it's really hard. I don't care.
Trust me, I spent a lot of time there.
I know.
Those
Yeah,
WG10s.
yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So I will
And-
say,
but-
oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just getting around to the point of, like, I was not expecting, in a sense, of being like blindsided by Todd Anderson coming back, because like, you didn't have any experience with him before,
No,
and other people in the shop. I mean, I'm not saying I talked you up. Don't even think that I'm saying I talked you up, but like, you were my trainer. You trained me on things when I came to guard drill. And granted that I was from a different shop and I came to this shop, I have seen things in a different perspective from a different career field, not only to come over to a different career field, this one, and then go like, while the people and the atmosphere is so much different. And then we go, you go on my first deployment with me to South Korea, and all the stuff that I'm learning from this individual, right? This person that's just essentially forced to be in my life at this point, because you are there and I'm in the military. We're in the same shop. Dude, we're just forced to be together, essentially, right? And we,
So
we,
high
were,
level.
we were roommates.
they were love at first. sight.
Yeah, love at first sight.
Loser.
And so I wasn't expecting Todd to come back in that position, and it just kind of blew my mind, because I know there's a lot of people in the shop that didn't know who Todd Anderson was, and I would talk about him, and there's things that I learned from him teaching me that I then took that in a position of being a trainer on equipment, of a way of, I didn't do it the same way he did.
Yeah.
The stuff he
It's
did
an
wrong.
open-minded
The stuff
approach.
he did.
It was your own open-minded approach to how you wanted to do things.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my whole thing when I was with the South Dakota Guard before. Was like I to this day I still hate we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
I've always hated that. The isms aspects of things. And like I despise that in every sense. And
So when you want to push his buttons, you know what to say. You
Oh.
over the phone.
well now
we
now
do.
that I'm
we
a
do.
boss,
I'm pretty sure we do. Yeah. Everybody's well aware that.
well now
all
that
you
I'm the
gotta do-
boss, I can squash it. So like
I've heard you say it a couple
Oh,
times.
you could try.
A couple times. I've heard you say
no, so
When
like
he's going to get you, he gets closer to the mic.
yeah, so like I will say like when
Very quiet.
it. Todd's got the floor.
like when I left South Dakota the first time there. Well, the first time there's only been one time. When I left the unit, at that point I was very much like I was the worker bee, like the life support side of the house. So like I'd come in all day and I'd just inspect G suits, helmets, harness, and I was pretty much by myself most of the time. It was just me and Jimbo, and he'd be playing music, and it wasn't quite at the drone stage yet, but like, but then I went to Missouri,
Flying
Drone
drones.
stage.
and
Not,
so
not like droning in my office.
Well, a little bit of both, maybe.
yeah, it's a little bit more.
I'm
A
drooling too.
little bit.
Gleek
Dude's getting old.
Airport vicinity.
And so like I went back to Whiteman, and when I got down there, like TFI is such a weird thing. Like I got down there and it was like, I didn't know what to do, because it's one thing when we didn't have any, I don't know with my hands. It was essentially that, like you got down there and you have like 30 active duty guys, and most of them are airmen. And then you got these like 5 guard dudes that nobody likes. And there's not enough workload on the bomber side. So like you essentially spend your time doing like program stuff and mentorship. Like, and so I actually had some guys that I knew down there from my active duty days who, like, as soon as I showed up, like they put me under their wing, and it was like, you already know how to do this shit. So I'm not going to waste your time doing that. I'm going to teach you how to do things that are above you that you've never done before.
And that is the same approach that I would say that I've perceived from Todd. That is the same approach that you have, directed towards me. That I feel. I mean, I'm sure there's others that have felt it too. But you've done the same thing as like in our career field. Like you know the basic tasks, And we talked about this, I think today or yesterday, where I'm just like, the first time he was like, I'm gonna have you write an EPR, and I was like, oh God, I know what that is, but really, do I have to? You know what I mean? And for him to be like so like, no, you're gonna do this, but here's steps along the way, like you're not alone. You're gonna do this. You're gonna figure it out. Run it by me. I'll correct you. Work in progress.
Eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is like,
Then it's not that difficult.
And I've taken that same process, like I said before, something you learn from somebody, good and bad. I take it, twist it, make it my own.
my philosophy on that was like, and I've always been this way, is like, I want you to try something you have no idea how to do. And it's not to be mistaken like I'm an expert at it, but I want you to try it. And if you fail at it, I don't care, because I'm not going to, like, on your first try, leave you hanging out to dry. Like writing awards. I talked to him like a couple of weeks ago about writing awards. Like I will be the first to admit, I'm not very good. I don't do a lot of that. Like, and that's my fault. And I could do better at that. Mm-hmm. But it's one thing that, like, I see that's a flaw that I've ignored. And it's something that I don't want him and the future people to do as well.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked about risk, and we've talked about change and learning things. Jaden's going to tell us about Riverside, what that mission is, how that came about, and what you're going to do with it.
I think we should take a
real
pee
quick.
break.
Got to take a break?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
gonna say, because
We'll leave it
you guys
running.
want to,
and-
if you guys,
No, we're just going to, I'll take a break, and then we'll be back.
All right.
5 minutes later.
All right, we just took our quick break, and we were moving on to Jaden's
Yeah.
story, and just let us know what Riverside is, why it's there, and what's going on.
Hi, my name is Jaden. I was married
Hello,
during
Hi,
Jaden.
COVID,
Jaden.
And I'm no, just kidding.
and I'm a Hog House Chronicle member now.
There you go.
But one sec.
Gotta wet my whistle.
Scratchy throat there.
So, there was one thing that I wanted to say on this podcast, and so yeah, we're gonna duke it out here pretty quick. No,
new
just
Air
my
Force.
interest into the military, I guess. So I was kind of the same way as you, Brandon. I was anti-military. I was anti-government, I should say. My dad is a big time prepper, I should say. And it kind of was just like, I don't want the military to rule my life, you know. And here I am. My old OG chief is making me do this podcast now. They're still ruling my life.
And even if you didn't want to, you had your flight team
Heavy emphasis on the
pressure
making.
Me down. No. So no, I was gonna go to school because I was like, I mean, that's what you do after high school. You know, you go to school and
didn't know
and you get a degrey and you get a job and you live
missed that
and you
part.
die, and that's just how it is. And the thing was, I ended up talking to Chief Dean Hilberg.
Yeah.
Right before I went to school, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, you got to check out the Air Guard." I go, "What is the Air Guard?" You know, and I go, he goes, it's the Air National Guard. I go, the National Guard, Army. I don't really like that. You know? And he goes,
This
"No,
guy went to
man."
school, everybody.
Yeah.
Where? How did you know Hilberg?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Or
No.
what
So
was the
I went to
connection there?
high school with his daughter.
Okay.
And we were really good friends growing up, and I just knew Dean, and I knew he was in the military. You know, he went to all the veterans program. Happy Veterans Day, everyone.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait.
A couple days.
In a couple.
Wait
days.
a minute.
What's up?
Backtrack here.
What's up?
Yeah,
What did you just do right there?
the Veterans Day thing.
That's the
It's a
Veterans.
V.
That's,
V for Veterans Day.
this is the V for Veterans Day.
Well, I'm sorry, the V
Sure is.
for Veterans Day. V for Veterans
Let's
Day.
roll with
Anyways,
it. Yes.
so no, yeah, so I knew Dean a little bit and had no idea who he was. I just knew he was in the military, you know. And he's like, "Hey, man, yeah, you gotta check out the Air Guard." And then I eventually, my mom had cancer at the time.
I remember that.
Yeah, you do, because
Bummer.
you, yeah, no, and so I was kind of going through it, you know, and a senior in high school, and I just graduated, and my mom has been my heart and my heart and soul of my whole life, you know, and I do remember kind of going through it that time, you know, it was their second time going through chemo and whatnot, and she ended up passing away, but the last place she went to was my enlistment. The last place she
I
ever
remember
went
that.
to.
That's when I met her.
Yeah, so home hospice was, you know, she had home hospice after that, and it's just really special, and that's kind of drilled into my soul now, you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know that.
yeah, well, if you would listen sometimes. no, I mean that is like that. So
Just to play a little joke, like or a little
big
back-
joke time here.
Great timing.
I should say
This,
that.
I was just thinking this is a good time for a joke.
To cut it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, but also I felt absolutely terrible at the time. We were in the shop. I don't know how long ago this was, and we were, you know, shooting the shit or whatever around this and that. And it was you, me, and Joe, and we were talking this and that, whatever. And Jaden asked some question or whatever, and I just respond, "Yo, mama," and then Joe looks at me and goes, "You know his mom's dead, right?" And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Oh shit." She's not. What are you guys are messing with me and this and that? And Jaden's like, "No, really." And I'm like, "You're full of it. No, whatever." And I learned a lesson that day. That's all I gotta say.
Well, the
Felt
thing is
terrible,
like
but you're a good sport and everything. And
everybody
maybe,
looks
like,
at that as like, that's the saddest thing that could ever happen in your life, And I look
That's-
at
that's
sad,
pretty
and I feel
fucking sad.
very
I
terrible
don't-
about
Absolutely.
it. But
Give me a better example of something that's not sad.
No,
between
no,
you and
I-
me, that has been a very like defining point. I feel because I didn't know that about you. And the way you responded, and the way that I then responded when I found out the actual truth. When I found out you guys actually weren't messing with me.
Yeah, no,
that's
it
been
was
a very defining point in our relationship.
it's been a thing where you gotta live and move on, and I was able to thankfully be able to move on pretty quick. I was old enough. I was kind of going through. I was going through it for many years, and now it's become to put a light on the subject. Like that's more of like a joke now, because I know that's what my mom would want. My mom would want me to joke. She wouldn't want me to be sad about when somebody says a yo mama joke to be, all sad about that. So I like to put a light on it and be like,
if
hey,
Brandon
man.
says a yo mama joke, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds good. That's how I'm
cool.
gonna think of it. That's how I'm gonna think of
I'm
it.
happy to hear this because I think it was actually yesterday that I almost dropped a your mom joke, and I only didn't because of this.
That's what I'm saying. It's because of since that point.
Green
there's
light,
been
Brandon.
many-
We're good.
There's been
Cleared hot.
many points between guardsmen and stuff, because you're not one to go out and just go, hey, you don't know me, but this
Yeah.
and that about my life and my
Yeah.
mother and the story, right? And then when I hear people say so, I go, oh, careful who you say that around.
Yeah,
Okay, be mindful
Yeah.
of others.
Yeah. Some things
'cause
you
it's
just don't know, though.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
And because and at the time, like I'm a victim of this is like the yo mama joke
Yeah,
time frame.
I
right?
like it.
Like when that was like very popular, So it's just like yo mama,
Yep.
as a response. And then that bit me in the butt real quick. And I felt absolutely terrible.
But that's
I felt
the thing.
absolutely
Yeah,
terrible. But I learned a huge lesson.
I had a guy that when I went back to Missouri, like it was like within the first week, I think, I'm in the your mama generation as well, and I dropped one of those your mama or whatever.
Dude, you're old. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not. Your mom's old.
Well,
Anyways, like his mom had also
Little slow.
It's gotta happen. It's gotta
little slow on that one, but no, but I had a coworker down in Missouri who was a full timer, and his mom had also passed away from cancer, similar to your mom, and so I had already gotten hit by that one, and so then when I came back to South Dakota, it was like day two, I think, and it was Joe, of course, it perfectly fits Joe.
Yep.
That I think that I hesitantly said your mom, and I got hit twice with it. Like in one lifetime, I got hit
Didn't
twice
learn
on
his
the
lesson.
his.
Didn't
mo-
learn his- I
Did
learned
you
my
know that his mom is dead?
Joe.
And that's Joe. People
thanks.
make you feel like
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
love you,
That's
buddy.
happened.
If you're
When I
watching.
retire someday and I work someplace, I'm just gonna drop that from everywhere.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Do not just don't.
Probably
Yeah.
not though. I probably will actually say that. And
But-
by that point, I'll be so old that it would be expected that their mom is dead. So
So on another sad
All right,
note, are you two sad about what he's going to tell you right now? You
Am I-
already know, of course, but are you sad?
What?
no, on
Very
On
sad.
what he's gonna
Very
talk
sad.
What the hell is he telling me?
I will
What are
say.
you telling me?
What do you tell me? He's going to talk about some
So
stuff now.
I
Fired.
yeah.
Damn it.
I will
I
say.
knew it would happen.
Obviously,
I knew it would
with-
happen in this
On the
format.
podcast, you're fired.
Yeah, I would say
Thank God.
with Jaden leaving, of all people, myself, to look at it perspective wise, I know
Leaving?
I know what it feels like to be in his shoes.
I'm leaving.
Like I've done what he's done, and so like when he approached me with this idea that he was like interested in it, this is before he applied. I hope you thought that I was encouraging it.
Absolutely.
Like
No, I'm pretty sure he said he hates you.
We'll get there. 'Cause
Yeah,
I want
not
to hear
right
that.
now. We're gonna
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
let him
'cause
tell
I-
his
All right,
story.
so
tell your
so-
story, and then
so
we'll,
going into
then we'll
this-
beat on you.
when you tell this story, I want to preface this
Absolutely.
so that you
Absolutely.
so you don't like
Yep. They're
even
going to
though-
hear this all again.
yeah. So that way like
again.
you can give us the uncut version.
So I do want to put credit towards Chad Swear. Nobody knows who that is. He was in weapons. He was
I know
actually
who that is.
the driving force with me, no kidding, joining the guard. I had Dean Hilberg, Chief Dean Hilberg. He was the one who introduced me, and I talked to Chad Swear, and he was like, "Yeah, man, we fly F-16s," and he was in weapons. He's like, "We drop bombs, we drop," and he's telling me all these different bombs and whatnot. That's
You
cool.
could be a pilot.
Yeah, yeah, man. And his brother was a pilot, so that was a big thing too. His brother was a pilot in Sioux City, KC-135 pilot, and. And so like I ended up, I'm like, oh man, and things are really going down around August of 2014 at the time, and that was like and with my mom and whatnot, I was just like, hey, your mom does your FAFSA, your mom does your college stuff, your mom does your stuff that and so she was like,
Joe Boston popped in.
yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll try out this guard thing, and join the military. And my dad, of course, is just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like you're gonna be ruled by the government. My dad grew up and he's like, you will be the man. You will not work for the man. He had a contracting company and he did his own thing. And I just was like, hey man, I can't do this. I was signed up for classes, ready to go. And literally a week before classes, I talked to my advisor and I was just like, I ain't doing this. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. And I enlisted September 2014. And like I said, my mom, she was able to go, and it was incredible just to know that is my mom was so like driven with my dad, and so they were together forever, and since 87. And it was like wow, that's amazing that she wanted to do this, and she was so for this, and my dad was so against it, and yet my mom was like, no, that's just the type of person she was,
She was all smiles that day.
Yeah, she was.
Couldn't hardly walk in and out and just smiling the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
First of your siblings to join the military.
Yeah, the first one, and so I joined that day, and she was so happy, and then I remember Jim, you, Chris, and I believe Angela came to her wake later on in October, and that was like the staple, family. This is a military family.
You bet it is.
And it was like, I don't even know who you guys are. I don't even know. I went to basic training, and I was like, people are like, what's your career? What do you do? What's your AFSC? And I'm like, I have no fucking clue, man. Like I deal with pilots and stuff. And people are like, yeah, I'm a cop, this and that. And I'm like, I don't even know. Cause I left so soon after that I didn't even know I was aircrew flight equipment. I couldn't even remember that. But like literally less than 1 month after I enlisted, I had family that was at my mom's wake. And it was like, who are you? Jim, I don't even know who you are, but that's incredible, And that's like, that's the whole like military family. And like you were talking about, like you get these relationships in the military that you just don't get outside, because everybody's going through it. Everybody's trudging through it constantly and digging deep. And like, that was, I don't know. Like I said, it's ingrained into my soul.
That's cool.
Ever since then.
Those military relationships, like especially, you see it on active duty a lot, because you got a lot of people that are someplace that they're not from, and they're all away from home, and they don't know anybody, and they don't know anything better. Like all you have is each other.
Yeah.
But like that guard bond that you get, like,
and they come from something deep, They come from nothing. So many people in the military, you join, and it's just you go to basic training, and that is an eye opening, especially come from the Midwest,
Yeah,
like everybody, we're just like, everybody knows everybody, and then all of a sudden you don't know a fucking person in that room,
Basic training basic training is the first glimpse into that perspective of like, wow, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I ran into, there's like 60 guys in our flight. There was like 2 or 3 where I was like, holy cow. You're from New York, you're from South Carolina. Like, we could have been friends from, very young till now.
Yeah.
And here we are just clicking.
Yeah.
And like, I had the same deal with like, when I went to, cause I joined as aircrew flight or,
E&E.
electrical environmental systems. And I did that for 3 years. And when I went to that tech school, I was gone for 5.5 months for the tech school alone. And there was people there where I'm just like, we're brothers. Like, wow. I can't believe, like, it's like we grew up together. It is that, like, there's all these people in this room, and there's a few people where you're just like, we are the same person. Wow.
Now, in
and we were from
basic
the
or
other
tech
side of the
school,
state.
did you have times where you knew their name, but you knew their state? Did you guys have times where somebody was just referred to as, hey, New York, get over here?
Oh, yeah,
without
for
a
sure.
doubt.
Yeah,
Tex.
Without a
yeah,
doubt.
my
Especially
bunkmate,
Tex.
my bunkmate was New York. Yeah, for
His
sure.
buddy was
Yeah.
Oklahoma. We called him Okie, man.
Yeah.
Like it was Okie.
That's fun.
Okie.
Mhm.
Texas guys stick out.
I think I was the
That
only
is
South,
true.
Everyone
I was
shut up
the-
about being from Texas.
I was the only South
Isn't
Dakota
that
guy
somewhere
there.
near Oklahoma?
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. So 911 happened. And, well, even to backtrack on that, we used to have ADF units, Air Defense Forces. And, like Montana had F-16s, Portland 15s. You had basically the perimeter of the country, protecting country. That was more the guard thing to do, the Minuteman.
Prior
Whether it was
to
Army or Air.
Mel Gibson.
prior to 9/11.
prior to 9/11, and then
Patriot.
some of those were going through the base realignment and closures, so they were taking those ADF units and turning them into GP units, general purpose. So they wouldn't just do dogfights; they would practice air to ground, dropping bombs, all that kind of stuff.
Cat fights.
So, yeah, dogfights, catfights, and but then 911 happened again, and then we realized we got to get back to protecting our borders. So there are those, and now we call them just alerts, but they're mostly around the perimeter of the U.S., and they're manned 24/7 and have been for many years.
Yeah.
And Riverside is the only one that had a full-time aircrew flight equipment person there. Now, a lot of the bases, if they were on the coast,
Not right now, anyway.
Facts.
the guys just had to.
He's
guys
right
and
here,
gals-
but he don't work there right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just had to walk over to the alert facility. But like in South Dakota and Duluth, and pilots had to fly to those alert units. So there's no support there, aircrew flight equipment. So a guy I was active duty with, Larry Hill, was the only AFE, life support AFE full-time person.
He's right here, actually.
And
That's Larry
Funny,
Hill right there.
funny
Larry.
story.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hijack your segue here, but we're gonna have to come back to that.
Yeah. So,
I've
yeah,
never
I
seen
mean,
Larry Hill in my
so
life.
I went technician. I went AGR, and then now we're here. I've been in the unit for just over 9 years. I ended up going technician straight out of tech school in 2017, and 2017, yeah. So 16.
So I was hired full time in 17.
Yeah, so 16.
You were already full time.
See, this is why he's my flight chief right here.
I like how Jim keeps
won't
like
remember, but I
referencing alert, and you keep going like 7
I'm
years
like, hold on.
past.
No, okay.
That's okay.
All right. We'll get to it
Dave,
now.
Tell us
All
your
right.
story. Tell us your story. I want to
yeah,
hear it.
after
Hi, my
1
name's
hour,
Jaden.
we're getting to
I
why
got-
we started this in the first place.
Yes.
I got
Tell me
married-
why you're going to alert. Well, I was born in
I got
1980.
married during COVID.
What county were you born in?
Nice. Loser.
Jim, hey, just sidebar here real quick. You need to get the what's the
Oh, price
yeah.
is, that's the price is right.
Oh, yeah.
Price
you
is-
try to get the
That's pretty good. We haven't used that one yet.
Use it.
Oh, we should have used it about 12
God
times
damn,
during
that
Todd's
is-
thing.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
There we go.
I don't know why this is just.
I love the sound. What else
They're
do you
so
have on the
simple,
soundboard?
but
We
so
have a
goddamn
new
funny.
man that's in love with the buttons.
We got buttons. I love
Yeah,
buttons.
you should,
So-
in the future, you gotta start out with. I mean, it's great for the old surprise effect, right? But you gotta let people know, man, because I'm breaking up right here. 'Cause it's just,
Brandon's gonna have a heart attack over here.
I didn't hear him for the first time until when you hit it, and that's.
I think we're at the point where we need a really ill-timed. Like, yeah.
Okay, let's start over.
Okay,
Jaden,
no, we're not starting over. We're gonna
start
continue.
Start
Yes.
talking about your mom and stuff, and then Jim will hit the button. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The wah, 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 wah.
I didn't want to say it,
terrible.
but that
I'm
would have
sorry.
been
I'm
that would have been
What
I had
asshole,
no idea
man.
what I
Comedic.
was getting
I
myself
cannot
into.
believe it.
You wanted this.
See,
Jim.
the
You
light
wanted
of
this,
the,
Jim.
the light of the situation. You got to keep it going.
I only said that the way I said it because I knew Jaden would laugh. Okay. And based on what he just told me now, his mama laughed too.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So
So take us back to 6th grade again.
All right. So 6th grade, my teacher was Mrs.
Oh, you don't
All right.
remember.
Well,
No, okay.
I do actually. I won't get on that. Okay. Well, so no, yeah. So Larry Hill was the AFE position, the one and only AFE position at any Lair facility in the world.
Yours truly.
Yep. Yeah, yours truly. So
Todd Anderson.
another sidebar.
Oh God.
Nobody here has met Larry Hill besides me since July. I finally met the guy, but before
Not a very
then,
long time frame.
everybody in the shop was like, "Who the fuck is Larry Hill? Who is this
he
guy?"
came here to
You
get
look
trained.
I'm the only person in the shop who has
at the
met
time,
Larry.
right? Yeah. So
I
Jimbo,
hope Larry watches this because literally every time I
Oh,
call
he
him, he'll be
watches
like,
them.
"Hey, brother."
He's gonna come out here. He
So-
wants to do one of these.
so Jimbo,
Well, you
Jimbo
better,
worked
you better
with
let us know.
Jimbo
Like,
worked
hey,
with
cool,
Larry
brother.
at Offutt, right?
Yep. 1986
Holy
through late
shit balls!
87.
I wasn't even
We
fucking
had no
born yet.
money.
Christ.
We would get together and watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure with a 6-pack of beer. And if we had a little more money on the weekend, we'd get a 12-pack.
Todd, you were born by that time,
Shit, yeah. I was,
so
I was
yes.
watching Pee Wee's as well.
What was Vietnam like?
What was Vietnam?
WW
Ask Jim. He
names.
was
So
already
the
collecting
joke-
Social Security during it.
The joke is for my fans out there. No, the joke is that
That's up to the fans.
that's up to the fans. No, so the joke is that nobody had fucking met this Larry Hill before I went in July, and still, Brandon, you ever seen Larry Hill?
Nah, I never.
Not a
I
fucking
talked to
sign.
him on the phone a few times.
You look him
texted
up on Facebook, and he's got a picture of his Toyota 4Runner on his Facebook profile.
Oh,
Yeah.
the camper on top.
The
It's
fucking
gotten bad
camper on
enough for
top.
like I say something about texting or talking to him, and Todd's like, and it's just like it could be Todd. Oh, it could be him. And then now it's like that is Larry Hill.
Boom. Yep.
Right here. Boom.
So this joke was like every time you text Larry Hill, "Hey man, can you inspect this piece of equipment?" Because we had neglected to inspect it before we went. Whatever.
Todd just
and
picked it up
Todd's
his
actually
other cell
just
phone, a separate cell phone he
Yes,
has.
I will inspect this piece of equipment right now.
There's a vibration from my desk.
Put a. Yeah, so that's the joke. But anyway, yeah. So Larry retired in August of this year, 23.
And I'm not sure if we mentioned it. Riverside, California.
Riverside,
is where he's at.
yeah.
So that's where you're moving.
It's
is
actually
California.
Merino Valley.
Nebraska.
Merino Valley, California is where
Is
the
it?
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't really understand. I think Riverside is I haven't been there yet. I guess long enough to understand that. I think Riverside is like the area. It's a city, but it's the area. Correct?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think so.
Kind of like Orange County, but it's Riverside.
I
right
saw it
there.
on Cops.
I mean, you bring up a good point because Riverside, is
Riverside.
it by a river? in the Orange County thing.
out by a river.
They're actually
the
orange.
River of Blood, the gangs.
I'm not trying to take these too literally, but like, why would they call it Riverside? It better be
Dude.
beside a river.
Dude, I don't
If it's not beside a river,
I'll
I'll be
fucking
very
know.
upset.
But yeah, so he
Who's the
retired
mayor?
in
Who's
August
the mayor?
23, and I ended up
changing.
applying for his position because that's that's something me and my wife have always wanted to do. We've always wanted to
Like he was saying, get away from the cornfields.
Yeah, and
man.
B, and
Yeah,
B,
man. Like,
A, my
he's
a
wife and I
hardcore-
want to do that. And B, I hate my
Hardcore liberal.
my
Hardcore
wife and I,
liberal.
we've always wanted to just leave for a little bit, get some experience outside of South Dakota. And of course, all of our family is here, South Dakota, Minnesota. And it's just like, this is, and I have a fortunate endeavor, I guess, to be able to do something like this. And so I applied for his job, and a lot of shit was going into that job. I'm only saying this because it really doesn't matter, but
You got the job now.
right now
So-
it's pretty fresh in
buck.
my brain where it's like,
Orders haven't been cut yet. What can I say?
you're not wrong. You're not
Regardless,
wrong.
we're kicking you out.
No, so I
Just go hang out in California. You might not be in the garden anymore. In a van down by the river.
busted. No, so I ended up applying for the job, for the position. I got it, and hopefully I'll be moving out there soon. It actually really does suck because like what Brandon was saying, and no offense to you, Jim, of course. It is
Which means
Here
take
it
a lot
comes.
of- Take
Here
a
it
lot of
comes.
offense.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
leaving
Crying.
just because of you.
I'm gonna start crying. No. So seriously, so when I joined the shop, I was pretty new, and I was pretty new with Jim anyway, and I didn't have many years with you, Jim, and to where I could because I was still young. I remember going into your shop at one point and saying, "Hey, Jim, can I get some more responsibility? I wanted some of that. I don't know if you remember that or not."
I was too busy chewing you out for getting an underage.
That's what I thought it was going to.
We talked about that last weekend.
We did, yeah. And it was like,
I didn't know that, by the way. I found out that conversation when you brought that up. I did not know that you got an underage, and then the way you explained it in the shop the other day about you talking to Jimbo about it and your perspective when that happened, that was absolutely hilarious.
I feel like my fans deserve to know.
Yeah.
But, no, it was just.
He thought you killed somebody.
He did.
And when he found out it was an underage, it was no, that ain't no big
okay.
deal. What are you talking about?
It was like, oh, okay, that's what it is.
If that doesn't speak
Thank
to Jimbo's
goodness.
character, that's funny.
Well,
shit.
he thought it was
as
good.
a chief at the time.
He
being
thought
like,
it was a
"I don't
fucking
give a shit."
A1C gonna get booted out of the military in less than a year and a half. I think it'd be a world record or something.
Jerry's still out on that.
That was so. I didn't know that story at all until last week.
There's
That was
enough
great.
seriousness, but you gotta let a guy know where he's not going to get kicked.
It was no Jim.
That was
You
great.
you
That was
without a
great.
doubt were an incredible supervisor, and I think I was too young at the time to be able to have the knowledge and the experience to be able to take on things that I just wasn't ready for, So, but since then, probably about a year after Todd took office, we voted Todd into office.
Apparently.
I didn't vote.
Yeah, I didn't fucking vote for that shit. No,
It was a rigged election.
It was
it really, it's rigged. No, it really has it's been crazy, man. The amount of shit that I've been able to obtain and the information and the experience I've been able to get just from my flight chief alone.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. No, it was,
I do this for
It
you.
was
All
no,
of-
it's serious.
All of this is yours.
In all seriousness, it's been, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It is really hard because it is,
Did you have to think about it for quite a while
Yeah.
or not?
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big move. It really is. I mean, no matter how much you desire something like that, and then when it presents itself, you're like, this is real. Now I
Dude.
got to make a decision.
Dude,
so,
I mean,
yeah,
But-
good on you, man.
I know without a doubt, because I know Jaden for many years now, that he knew in the back of his mind, no matter what decision he made, he had everyone behind him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're not
100%.
going away.
No, man.
We are not going away. That's why I wanted to get you on here before you left.
Yeah.
You're looking at December-ish, or you think that'll be after first of the year more so?
Let's hope for December.
Sure, sounds good, Jim.
Okay, well,
You
this will
said
be-
it first.
My wife would kill me if it ended up going into January. I'm not
We're,
gonna lie.
we're looking mid-March at this point. Yeah.
Whoa!
So in 2023,
No, I
2030 when Jaden takes over the alert mission.
so kind of
He didn't
getting
leave,
back.
and now he's taking over the Sioux Falls shop. 'cause
What
everybody
the
else
fuck is
gone.
going on with this world?
No, but like kind of getting back to this, like I know him and I went to Arizona in July, and
Mhm.
I had already been made aware of this. Yeah, Brandon didn't get to go.
Loser.
Womp, 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 womp.
I had a double whammy.
Oh man.
I fucking love that
Okay,
thing.
I'm done.
Oh, man.
Done.
I'm
No.
going home.
No, but like Jade and I, like we had chatted before we went there and while we were there and stuff like that. And like I've been in his shoes on that. So I know his perspective of like there's like you're giving up something for an uncertainty there. But
Yeah.
like I hope that he understands like I'm all for this move.
No.
It's gonna create a
Yeah.
obviously it's gonna back home, it's gonna create like a change that we have to adapt to.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely. So I remember when I was first starting to go to school, and Jim, you were like, "Do it, go to school." And what that usually means is you're fucking leaving me. I know you're leaving me. You know, you're going to school. What the hell? You're a full-time technician in this shop, and a shop that is, at the time we had just lost a member, and it was like, we can't afford. You just got here, man. And Jim was like, "Yep, you go for it, man." And
You
then
got to have a plan B.
and then moving on to, I remember when I was going to school still with you, I had gotten back from, get out of the way.
Not me,
No.
man.
Not with you. Sure as shit. No,
Bad
no.
grades.
School
No,
hard
so
knocks,
like it
maybe.
is the same thing. Like I was going to school with you, and the reason why I was going to school was a technician. Yep, like Brandon, you had said that before.
He hit the loser button.
No, so like with you, like you had said, like yeah, there's just not enough upward movement, right? And I was like, yeah, there's not.
When did I say that?
You had said that earlier before the break, yeah. But
I said that.
I should have known you had said that.
Cut
You
him
talked
off.
about
Cut him off.
3/4 of the time anyway. But
All I know is it came from my left.
no, so like in all seriousness, like you had like allowed me to go to school at that time, knowing like shit, he's getting a fucking bachelor's degree. Now
I figured
what
you're
is
gonna be
that?
an officer by now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. It's not
honestly,
cut out for
That's-
me. I guess I don't know.
That's not a joke either.
Yeah, no,
I
exactly. Like,
You
and
could
you,
see- you
and
could
Todd,
see-
you were. I remember I would submit my, as stupid as it sounds, I would submit my tuition assistance, and
Very
you would
stupid.
accept it the fucking day of, right? That within an hour, every single time you would accept it, and it was like that was like a, okay, like
If
you know my movement.
You know,
I
you
fucking
know.
put a what was that book on my desk? The
Encyclopedia.
dictionary.
what's that? The officer training book.
Thesaurus.
It was a.
Is there another name for that?
I can't. I'm blocking right now. But basically,
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even hear it. But I'm gonna. I put that book on my desk or whatever that was
Yeah,
saying.
you put the book for studying for the officer exam or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
called. I can't remember what it's called.
yeah.
I've never taken it.
So Todd did that.
It's like the
He
pre-test
inquired.
book.
You
Yeah, it's the pre-test
inquired.
book.
I
You
wouldn't know.
inquired, and
That's
you were
what I'm
like,
asking
"Hey,
questions.
just I noticed you." I fucking put it on there, and I was comfortable enough to be able to put it on there right there, to where like I didn't have to hide that from you. That I was like, "Hey, I'm really looking at this," you know, and you pulled me in your office and you were just like, and without Brandon, thankfully, because Brandon would have probably cried or something. And
Brandon can
why
barely,
am I not in your? No, I'm just joking.
Brandon
I'm
can
just joking.
barely read, so if you put any
He
book at her desk,
I
you're
can't
fine.
read. No, so like, and you were just like, and you pulled me in your
Alright.
office, and you're like, hey,
That's
I saw
valid.
this is on your desk. Like, noticed. Are you thinking about what's your thoughts here with this? You know, I'm not stupid. You put this fucking shit on your desk, and like, I want to know what's going on.
Are you like a 13-year-old girl who's trying to make a statement, like
Yeah,
nonverbal? Or
no. I really was like contemplating. You know, I really wanted to do something.
But real quick, just real quick, just a quick thought. Like, I don't know what the time frame is as far as this, but like I knew, I mean, I got out there full time in 17, and you had what year did you actually join?
Join the
The
military.
military at the Guard.
2014, I joined the Guard, and then
So like we were both DSGs for a hot second together.
shit, I went full time in 15. Right?
So I think you had been out
No,
there
it
for
was
a-
16.
That'd have been a little quick.
It was
yeah,
16.
yeah.
16.
So I guess what
You
I
had to
what
think
I'm
about
getting
that
to-
for a second there.
Oof.
So what I'm
Public
getting
math.
to is like, it was a culmination between many things as far as like looking at the job as a the shop as a whole and what people were doing.
Yeah.
Guardsmen full time. You were like 100% invested in the shop and school.
Yes.
And to me, I was a guardsman, man. I didn't. I don't
don't-
want to say
I-
this.
I
for
don't
lack of better
math
terms,
good.
I didn't care until 2017 when I got full time.
Yeah.
Right? I care. I mean, it
Yeah,
was, it was
no,
a side.
yeah.
I was farming, man.
Yep.
And
100%.
whenever you and I interacted on the monthly basis that I had with you, I was like, this guy's got it figured out. This guy's doing stuff, proactive, go-getter, all this different stuff. So, like, based on what you're talking here, I just had to throw that in there. Like, that was my perspective of you, and you are, like, 6 years younger than me?
Yeah,
You know?
lots of energy.
Yeah, I mean,
Lots of energy.
Way, man.
and I think that's why you and I
Lack of
clash on
maturity,
many
though.
and those are our two opposites that have made us clash
Yeah.
and then grow over the years of you know, coming across different things that are work related and grow across.
Yeah, man.
that-
I mean, it
across
was
that
like one of my
prospect. But
things. Like, I remember when I applied for the technician job, I had told you, I don't fucking know what the question was, but
During the interview?
Yep, during the interview, and I said, "Hey, man,
Tell me about yourself.
I said I'm high energy, and I like to keep the shop young. You know, I was 20 years old. I had gotten an underage,
That's
Hell yeah, you're high energy.
and I was like, hey, I want to keep the shop young. There's a bunch of old farts in here, you know.
Still is.
No,
Shit.
it was
That's a
exactly
fact.
that, and I was like, hey, man, I can inspect 69 helmets in a single month or whatever, and make
How
it
many?
work, you know. 69. I
69,
inspected
baby.
Oh,
twice,
absolutely.
two. Yeah,
Happy
yeah,
Veterans Day.
yeah. Happy veteran. Happy veteran.
Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
That does not compute.
Oh dang,
That's a new one.
I think it sounds like Happy Veterans Day.
it does.
Yeah.
No,
so
hit it again, Jimbo.
going-
Hit it.
Oh,
Speaking my lingy.
cheers.
He's speaking my lingy.
Hello,
We're,
Malay.
we're probably going to
oh.
need another
He's speaking
intermission.
my lingy.
I think this is actually a good point here.
I'm
'cause
not
Jaden's-
trying to-
Jaden's
I would
17
like to
minutes
just-
into explaining.
I would
his-
like to just finish my thing.
That's
All right.
great.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
We do
Real,
that.
okay, so
Oh, sorry.
damn it. I just want to finish off with
Of course.
when I was applying and you knew I was applying for that alert job in California. You never once were against it. Not one bit. No, I don't want you to answer right now. This is my time. No,
The hell
no.
up, dude.
Put the mic away from your mouth. This is my time.
Hey,
Chad, I
cut
got
him off.
controls right
Cut
now.
him off, Jimbo.
No, put that dude on mute. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not trying to be all, hardy with you like you and Brandon were earlier. I don't want to.
Yeah, we
What
didn't
are you-
invite him onto here to
Don't
be
don't listen to anything he says.
Yeah,
He
man.
tried kissing me earlier.
No, I seriously, I'd never once fucking got that. So the entire time, you as my supervisors, my entire time in, never once did you once fault me in any which way direction I wanted to go? Whether it was technician and I wanted to go one way, I said F this, or whether it was I was AGR and I wanted to go towards a different direction going to Riverside. Never once did you guys ever say, hey man, I really don't think this is a good idea. Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because we just be thinking about ourselves, which is wrong.
True. It is. I mean, that is
Dude,
what
and-
I vibe from, and you were talking about that earlier, Brandon. Like we have been blessed with really good supervisors. You know, we've had a lot of struggles in the shop, as every shop it probably has, but we really have like been blessed with good supervisors to where we're able to like grow in different directions and be able to like,
Flawed
hey, no kidding.
If you
A lot of
so- and
flawed
that's
supervisors.
you guys, you're saying very good points here. Like, yes, every supervisor that comes along the line in some way, shape, or form has something good or bad to take away from them. What they did, in a good sense, I will take that and use it to the good. What they did in the bad sense, they didn't know it was bad, but
Yeah.
I perceive that as like, maybe you could tweak that a little bit, right? That is something that you can take forward and then keep tweaking and progressing and hope to God somebody below you sees that in you that you didn't see to keep perfecting and progressing. And, you know, that's how, if people are proactive in seeing those things inside of them and being self-conscious, we talk about this a lot of times in the shop. Like, you know, we're very self-aware of our own being, I think.
I think that's in the Bible too.
I don't know.
Hey,
Prove that.
Yeah,
We best
just
not
being
talk
aware
about
of
the
yourself.
religious purposes here, but
Being aware of yourself, you can point your fingers this way. It's a speck in that person's eye, but we don't see the log in our own eye.
Exactly.
that's in the Bible.
But we're I
I don't believe it.
off topic.
Bible.
No,
Anyway.
no. To dive into what you're talking about here, like, I'm only your supervisor because I had the support to leave. Like, he never once stood in my way
Damn,
to leave.
that was deep. He's only your
We got a
supervisor.
sound
I don't have a
effect.
sound
Sound
effect for
effect
that.
coming up here.
I
Dude.
don't have a sound effect for that. Let me look
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah,
No, so like, let me finish what I'm going here.
Well,
with
say
this.
it.
No, I
Say
am-
it again. Say it again.
I
Say
am
it again.
only your supervisor because I had the support to leave.
That's
And
That's
so the thing is like, I could absolutely selfishly say, Jaden, I don't want you to leave, and try to figure out a roadblock to it. But the best version of you is going to come from this experience. And I may benefit down the road.
what are we talking about?
I may
You fucking better benefit down the road.
no, I
No, you and I
may-
just talked about this
so
yesterday. or
so
today.
I may
Yesterday?
we did.
Yeah.
I, meaning the shop, may benefit down the road because you may at some point, like me, want to come back. You're going to gain perspective that you
Good luck.
cannot gain. You cannot gain where we're at because every shop, every unit, every whatever is always different,
Yeah.
and you're going to gain something from that because you're essentially a one-man show there.
Yeah.
And so, any attempt by anybody to kind of stop you in your
Toe-to-toe.
tracks
Totally so.
is essentially putting a roadblock in your potential. So, like, of all people to support you, like, I am 100% like, go and do this because to me, it's like, I have more to gain by you leaving than by trying to find ways to keep you.
That is really hard to say.
It is.
That's hard to hear.
Dude, it's really fucking hard to hear because, like, I'm like,
I can't say it.
it is, it's hard to say, but like you said, it's hard to hear because, like, it is. I had said this before, but like, there's nothing that's saying that I want to leave. There's nothing that drives me out. Right?
Yeah.
That,
It
that-
is.
yeah,
it is.
that is not your motivation.
Everyone here,
It is
everyone knows that that's not your motivation.
No.
Right.
But everybody knows your motivation without even you having to explain your motivation. That's the thing.
Like,
That's how
I appreciate
tight knit
that.
we are.
No, I appreciate
Not
that.
every-
I don't
not everybody
need you
leaves.
to explain to me why you want to do this. I know because I know you as a person to your core why you are doing
That sounds really fucking good.
No, not.
Hey, okay.
So
when,
not.
All right.
Hold on, one point.
Go ahead.
But like not.
Dude,
Shit, I lost my train of thought there.
you're welcome.
All right, Jimbo.
All right, well, right before the break, I'm going to say this, and then we'll figure out a way to come back. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're going to fill these again because I'm having a great time, and I
Yeah,
think you
hell
This is
yeah,
good.
buddy.
This is good.
All right. What I've been doing is I leave here. You know how I said we don't lose track of each other.
Yep.
That's, with other friends and stuff. I just drove out to see Greg Gadboy that
Yep.
was
F15.
Doug's brother,
Yep.
Dale's brother,
Yeah.
and did 3 podcasts out and back. I don't know if these 2 guys would be willing or have the leave, but you're going to be out there. You'll probably be out there at least like 4 years. Something like that is my guess.
Yeah.
If it's less, you better let me know.
You planting a seed,
Yeah,
Jimbo?
I'm
You planting a
gonna be
seed?
about that. Maybe a
Hold
little
on,
more.
hold on.
Trip,
I'm gonna
podcast
mark
stuff.
this right now. Okay.
Potentially
So
a
we're
little
gonna I'm gonna mark this. Okay.
Yes.
Oh God, here we go.
Five-
If
On
we
the-
take over the debt,
On
take
the-
over the debt.
on the
right?
fucking
5
Todd's
years.
over here. Hey, I marked it. It was on this date.
It is November 9th.
right, let's hear it.
I want this timestamp though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
August 1st, 2029. Just saying.
29.
29.
That's his retirement day, man.
Okay, I'm going prior to that, like within his
I don't want him back by then.
time frame.
That's not enough time for him
November.
to
We're going to see
marinate.
if
November
you
1st.
two are going to hop
9:41.
in the Traverse with me. I'm going to go to California while you're out there. That's
You
what I'm trying to
fucking
say.
better.
Hey,
I'm going out there
Jimbo,
next
I'm
week with
going.
him.
Hey,
If you guys want to
lining
go,
up with me. I'll figure it out. Do what
do
I
it.
gotta do.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, got a lot of things. Got a lot of stuff on the side here.
need-
I only have
All right,
3
I can make it
kids.
happen.
I need Brandon to stay in the shop,
You
so
wanna
you
get knocked
and I
out?
will go out there.
Kids, man.
I'll knock you out on live
Bad, 3
television.
kids.
I know, I know somebody knows how to
All
get
right,
fake
time
IDs,
out.
and we'll just get you one that says Brandon Lynch.
intermission number 2.
DTS will cover it.
Hey, just so you guys know, we've got bedrooms here and all kinds of stuff. So
Beautiful.
just in case.
It's all right.
See?
Jaden's used to breaking laws and shit. So
I fucking love that you keep bringing that shit.
I already plan
So
on
where
sitting
we-
on my truck, Jim. So
Where are we bringing this back up
Honor
here?
Okay,
in.
I'm going to start you off. I'm going to let you hear some of the intro, outro music just to get you in the mood again.
Yeah.
This is the intro.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I like that.
Fireball.
that's what I'm saying. I think we need to come up with some sort of intro for you for the rest of your podcast tonight.
World Party Time.
Oh no.
If you want to be magically missed away to
That's good.
Delaware.
That's good, man.
Hey,
Where'd you
we're
get
in
that?
Delaware.
On a site called Epidemic Sound, and I pay $108 a year for copyright-free music and sound effects.
How much?
That's what, $180 a year,
Oh shit! I heard 800.
Sound effects too.
and then the editor program.
I would say I will create with my own vocal cords
Editor
free.
program includes like what?
It's an Adobe product.
Oh, that's the Adobe you were talking
Yeah.
about. Okay. Okay.
No, this part, or not this part, it's coming up here. I use for the outro.
Yeah.
Let's- this is a repeat?
Let's listen. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yep.
Oh,
That's the outro.
You gotta get you going. I love it. I love it, man.
yes.
That's a man.
Back into it.
Them snakes are
I
getting
love
close.
it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You want?
God,
Hey,
you guys are a lot of fun.
So
hey, you wanted this.
I'm gonna
I
hijack
wanted
this.
this.
I'm gonna hijack this
I
conversation here.
craved
All right, Daddy.
There you go.
Okay.
Done. What you got?
So
What you
My
got?
safe word is pineapple juice.
for YouTube right here,
YouTube?
Yeah.
YouTube
right,
right
let's hear
here. Okay.
Yep.
So I deployed with you in 15.
Prove it.
Korea.
I could actually probably pull that
Korea.
off. But
That sounded like a button.
Anyways,
so
it's a good button.
I could definitely like sidebar here. Like this guy right here.
Do it.
When you're roommates with this guy right here, you could plan on at some point there's going to be a 33-hour drinking session
Sure. Yep.
and people escorting him back and be like, this guy needs to go sleep.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Dude,
back
that's the way
to
it
my
is.
original
Yeah.
statement here. So,
All right.
you guys deployed 18 to Afghanistan.
We did, yeah.
Okay,
Without you, sorry, you weren't there.
that's fine.
You let us down.
I did. I actually, I think you guys were still there. I was deployed fighting for our freedoms in Hawaii, but,
Loser.
I want to get your perspective. So I know Brandon, he went to South Korea in 15, and that is kind of more of like what I'm used to, like on the B2 side. You guys actually went to the Middle East, and I'd like to get your guys' perspective of what what you thought you were getting into versus what you experienced
Can I start?
from an AFE perspective.
I actually want you
Because
to
I would love coming from a.
Because I just want to preface before you start that like I was.
So you're gonna start.
No.
I'm just kidding. Anyways,
I just want to preface. I do want you to start because I was a DSG tech sergeant, and then I took
Good
off the
point.
rank, became for the AGR conversion. I went down to staff.
yeah,
So you and I were both staff sergeants,
yeah.
but I had a little bit of tech
Senior
sergeant.
Losers.
No, you were a tech sergeant.
I started out senior airman and ended up.
No, in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I started out senior airman and got promoted while I was there. Wow, I did. That's such amazing.
I don't remember. I see. That's the kind of stuff I don't remember.
Yeah,
So I just
dude.
want to
Couple of
preface
buck
that with,
sergeants
like,
we got going here.
with, like
Yeah.
I you know, we were
So-
both staffs there
Yeah.
for the long part of it, but like I'd been around for the most part. You know,
So,
We know
Todd,
this, Brandon.
You popped.
I've
Todd,
made my
you-
rounds, baby.
Todd, you popped the bubble. Congrats, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start, and it was basically going into it. It was a lot of I didn't hold any programs, and if anybody knows anything about AFE, I held PMEL. There are programs, and those two are very subtle, to say the least, I guess. But that's what I asked. That's what I asked for, right? And that's what Jimbo gave me, and he gave me these programs, and I fucking dove deep on them, and it was freaking like brushing rust off of them, off of tools and whatnot, this and that. But
You might
anyway,
you might be the first person when I asked how was Afghanistan, and you started it with
CTK program.
Email.
I wasn't female. No, so
that's the
I
first.
gotta actually ask you what your question was again because I'm very confused.
no, so I'll just start.
How did you
So-
deal with
He'll
how did
start.
you deal with Afghanistan?
Yeah,
Like,
so
for first
so starting, of course, you're like, damn, we're getting bombed every other day, and it's a big deal, and it's pretty cool. Being in the military, it's not very cool when you're my wife and she's concerned, of course, which is actually a big part of it for any of the viewers that are listening that are not in the military, that don't think it's very cool getting bombed, right? But it was. I've kind of prepared for this question, I guess, a little bit because I figured it might have come up. But
moving on,
it is
Brandon.
very easy. Lifestyle is very easy getting into it. I remember Brandon and I got there and we were like, we got to set this shit up because we had and no offense to our supervisor at the time, but we had a supervisor that was a DSG.
okay,
And
we didn't really have a supervisor.
we had a supervisor who was a DSG, and he just is a DSG. He does the 1 week in a month kind of thing, and like
Didn't have the experience
Exactly.
for what you were doing.
exactly. So we get there and we're like, holy shit, we got to get stuff like summed up, And Brandon and I spent like, what was it?
It was
36 hours awake
yeah.
the entire time, just getting
awake
stuff
the whole-
prepped and whatnot.
And that was based on just us like, well, we don't want to fail, but it was
Yeah.
also, it was 24-hour ops. It was 24-hour ops. So it was like our way of just like, there's only one way to do this.
And we're flying day one.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it is
We're there
game
day
on.
one. I was behind you
We're
by a
at
couple
war kind of
hours,
thing.
but like, that was like the reason we didn't have to. Looking back now, like we didn't have to stay up that late
Maybe
and
not.
that long, but like we wanted to make sure like the people we were what's the unit we were taking over for,
Yes.
they were gonna be leaving soon, so they're doing their turnover.
Is that
And,
Tulsa?
and we were
Yeah.
already behind because I was supposed to be there 5 days before. Aircraft was broken. So I was advanced. So I was supposed to go before the main body. And I actually left the States after the main body.
Welcome to the Air Force.
Welcome to the Air
Yep,
Force.
exactly.
Main body gets there the same day I got there. They got
Oh,
there
man.
before these guys got to Afghanistan maybe like 6 hours ish. Maybe
Yeah, it was
before
the same
me.
day.
You guys had more stops than I did.
Yeah,
but
we
like,
did a lot more work than Brandon did, but
Yeah, it's pretty much.
But no, I'm just like, so it was like we're day
boots
one,
on ground,
day one,
game on.
we were behind.
Yeah.
That's how we felt.
Yeah, how
We
could
don't
it
know
not
any
be?
better. We don't know any better.
I mean, you got to transfer assets because there's some assets that stay, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
goes
and
on.
that was the thing with like me being pretty new, you know, in 2018 I've been in for 2 years like full time or whatever, and it was just like, okay, yeah, here's game on. And it was like, oh yeah, boots on ground, we got shit to do, and we show up there and it is like, okay, this is not like our main shop, and we got to be able to support flying missions that are, no kidding, dropping bombs on bad guys, and we're doing business kind of thing. And getting there, and also knowing that Lawrence was, you know, he knew his shit. That dude knew his shit at the time, and we're like learning. I
John
remember
Lawrence
John
from
Lawrence.
Tulsa.
Exactly.
John, I'll probably send you a link for this. Yeah. Because your name was mentioned.
John. It's for you, baby.
John and I met
Respond to my
way
emails,
back.
John
John.
is a
There's some history there too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic. Like, I don't even know if at the time, like, we knew.
who he was.
I mean, I think I had a little bit of inclination.
I think
that
in
was
an
the
AFAC.
big.
He
that
was in an
yeah.
AFAC. I think you met him.
Probably.
AFAC is a class, Aircrew Flight Equipment Compliance class, that I started years ago, where we just bring people in from around the country. So when they
Yeah.
mentioned AFAC a few times in like part one of this, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So
and-
you met him
and,
there.
and he was like, you know, in my experience and stuff, it was like I knew he was a guy that knew what the hell was going on, and he was one to know. So like, that was the one kind of nice thing going into the Afghanistan thing was, you know, I know there's a guy that's going to be there that knows things, and he's going to be able to help us out before they leave. And it was very, very tight time frame to turn things over. Go ahead. That was just that on.
No, yeah,
short
it was
notice.
tight time frame, and thankfully I had like Brandon, who was at the time.
Oh, where's the sound effect? Let me look through.
Yeah, that's right. Catch up, buddy.
It's probably hard to find
How's
like
that?
his hair.
we had Brandon like at the time like
There it is.
There we go. No offense
Nice.
to the flight chief at the time, like
Well, I
it
wasn't
was.
at the time. I
No,
wasn't.
you
flight
were
chief
not.
at the time.
But
I was just sat
no
there,
offense
bud.
to my flight chief right now.
Mhm.
He wasn't. He was brand new. You know, like full time.
Yeah.
And we had a DSG who was leading the trip at the time, and Chief Bradshaw was he. I think you knew that
You had
that
to have known.
you had to know that you knew that Brandon knew his shit in a sense, you
Yeah.
know, and you knew who you were sending on the trip, and that was like, yep, this is what we're doing, and we
you
get
gotta
there
learn somehow.
yeah, exactly, and that just that fucking grew our bond even stronger to where it was like I remember that first day we had boots on the ground and it was like it was tense. It was like we're fucking landing and we're like, holy shit, like get off the jet. They take off and yada yada and you're like, all right, we're in Afghanistan, you know.
Get to work.
We're get to work, yeah. And Brandon showed up, maybe like 6 hours later or whatever, because he was Advon, so he's before us, but not.
I sat at home for
yeah.
5 days waiting to go
like
to
what'd you
Afghanistan.
say? Thanks to the Air Force.
Yeah,
Advon was after main
thanks,
bond.
Todd.
Yep.
Fact.
But no, so
You're
we
welcome.
get there and we're like, we get to work, and he was like, I will say, like you were the driving factor of like, hey man, we got to keep going, and we got to do this, we got to do that, and I was just like, what do you mean? Because like at the time, I'm just like, we're here, I've been on a couple TDYs, I'm like, we're here. What are you talking about? And Brandon's like, no, man, we got to get our CTKs good. We got to get our HAS good. We got to make sure we're like, no kidding, these dudes leave the next day.
If you're
And
thinking
we're ready
about
to fly.
HAS on the first day, holy
was.
cow.
And
He was 100%.
I will be
It was a
honest.
shit show.
I'll be honest right now. Like I don't know why. So just for a frame of reference, that was in 2018. What we left in like June, end of June,
Yeah, about
something
there.
like that.
June, July.
So a year before that, June 25th of 2017 is when I got hired full time after being 8 years in the military, 5 years in AFE. I'm
DSG.
going as a DSG.
Yeah.
I got hired in 17 as a full timer. So 1 year later, here I am going to Afghanistan, not as the superintendent, not as a supervisor.
Nope.
I'm going as staff sergeant because I
Yeah,
did the whole
dude,
conversion
to
and
get
everything.
the job done.
Yes.
In my mind, it was nothing like
I
that.
knew what you were thinking over there.
Yeah, I have some comments on this, but
In my mind, at the time, I didn't think of that kind of stuff. I didn't go like, I'm the man to get it done.
No,
type
So-
of
don't,
stuff. I
don't,
just
don't
knew-
go by the bass in my voice.
So-
just knew you
I
had
just
to get
knew.
stuff
I just knew.
done.
I was like, when we get to Bagram,
Land, get it done.
I was
Yeah.
supposed to be at Advon. In my head, I was like, I'm 5 days behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 5 days behind, and my main body dudes. I was thinking about these guys, you and Joe and Steven and Dan. I'm just like, where are they sitting mentally? Like, what the F are we doing right now? I don't even know. Like, we're in 24-hour ops. We're in Afghanistan. We're in the shit.
Remind me, Steven, who was that?
Steven
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez down in Tucson.
yeah.
Oh.
Pena.
He was a,
Tony
Pena.
Pena.
Tony
Yeah, so
Pena.
Tony
That's
Pena.
who I'm thinking
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
rest in peace, Tony.
Yep.
Yep.
You bet.
Yes.
So-
So they work together.
Steven
So
was,
Steven
has
augmented
worked
with
with
us.
Augmented
Yes.
with us.
Tony.
The
Got
guy, he fucking did it done. I fucking hope he sees this, but like, I mean, that dude.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, you guys will have to just send the link around.
Yeah, we can.
dude.
Yeah, sure.
No, he got shit done. Like that dude knew what he was doing, and he was a perfect augmentee for that trip. And like when we got there, I was like, "Who the fuck is this dude?"
He was a
you
great
know?
stress reliever in a way of
was.
like in
reliable.
yeah, he was
Extremely
reliable.
reliable.
Same as
stress
Tony.
reliever.
Credit
Yes,
to
exactly.
Tucson.
I took
Credit-
Tony's horseback riding.
Yeah,
in
credit,
Hills
credit to
when he
those
got
Tucson
back.
guys. Like,
Like
They knew.
They
They knew.
They can't. They in across both trips with Korea and Afghanistan with both those guys, they were a stress reliever in a sense that like we didn't work with them every day. So here's a person where like if you're in Afghanistan,
It's new blood.
across the world, you're missing home, missing people you love. You can talk to this person next to you and go, "How did
Yeah.
you grow up?"
Yeah.
yeah,
As
Yeah.
simple as that.
Absolutely.
they're
Tell me
dealing with
about
the same
yourself.
stuff you're dealing with. So
Yeah.
They are.
So
Exactly.
chronology, when we're in Afghanistan, is that before? That's before you came back.
yeah,
That is before.
that was before.
So
Okay,
at the
that's
end,
what I thought.
at the tail end of
Oh, because the master came out at that
Yep.
time.
at the
blah, blah,
tail
blah.
end of
Got it.
Afghanistan.
So I didn't go to Afghanistan. You guys talking about like the chaos of the initial,
yeah,
you show
were
up
there.
Yeah.
that
You have
war
no
zone,
idea.
that war zone like chaos and stuff like that. Like, no, little cheat code for you. Like, no boss, no superintendent, nobody is leading on these trips. Nobody shows up there and has their shit. They're pooping a group like there's no such thing as like a guy who gets off the plane like in the movies and is like, I know exactly what to do.
Loser.
But
It's always every superintendent or any supervisor that shows up in a deployed location, no matter where you go, you immediately start like following like your home station checklist in your mind, and you quickly start like eliminating stuff out of it.
So Brandon had just knowing Brandon and talking to him. He didn't have a deployed checklist.
No,
He didn't have shit. I mean, he showed up. He's like, I've been in the unit for a year. I've been full time for a year. Blah blah blah. And he never went in like just swinging. He just came in and he did it. And that was I'm not trying to like toot my flight chief's horn because that's the last thing I want to do. No, but like he came in around it. He did he did the job, and it was just like boom, 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 boom,
Stay
boom.
calm.
I can't.
Yeah.
Do what's needed. Prioritize. And
Boom.
do the next thing. Shoot the snake that's closest to you.
Shoot the fucking snake that's closest to you.
So all that being said, here's what really happened. So from my perspective, okay, so and this is no fault to you, Jim.
I've heard that like 3 times.
I just want to make that a point. Like,
Prepare
we
yourself.
hate you, Jim.
I'm a big boy. You're the worst.
Just for reference point, like you were my superintendent at the time.
Right.
You were my boss when we went to Afghanistan. We went we had a master sergeant, DSG, part-timer, and it was myself, who is now a staff, was a tech, but I took off the tech stripe to get AGR.
Right.
Jaden, AGR. Joe was staff as well. So 3 staffs, and then we had was Daniel.
Weirs.
Dan was a senior airman.
I think he was a senior airman.
Yeah,
at the
he
time.
was.
Yep.
I was a senior airman too.
But you made staff.
Last month.
Okay,
yeah.
so you
But
made staff. There
But
on
at the
trip.
time, I was a senior airman. I was
That's
still
true.
young.
That's true.
Yeah.
For experience
So
level.
like,
Yeah.
I didn't go into that trip going, I'm the top dog, bees knees, knows everything, dude. I've been a guardsman for 8 years, and I come into this full-time position for a year.
Loser.
You think I know anything? If you know anything about AFE, you don't know a darn thing after a year being full-time. Still, we still have conversations this week about learning progression in the career field as a whole, and at that time, I can tell you right now, if I could go back and talk to myself in 2018 and tell myself, my younger self, hey, you're gonna be the flight chief soon, my younger self would be like, yeah, okay, bud. You know what I'm saying? So like that was literally my mentality, is like, I'm just here.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to prove a point.
No,
I'm not trying to be this person. I'm not trying to undermine an individual, because we had a master sergeant that was a DSG. I was not trying to do anything or pull some strings.
No, you weren't.
No, you
Exactly.
you resort to what you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And guess what? I didn't know a damn thing. When it came to that deployment, I was like, I have no idea what to do. I relied very heavily on Sergeant Lawrence. Bless his soul. He's the man.
There you go, John. You're going to get the link.
He's gonna get the
You
link,
have no
man.
idea, John.
He's the man.
Because John remembers when he and I met. And what
Exactly.
his experience level
And I've heard that story many times, and it's just very like, it's come full
Good on
circle.
you, John.
In a sense, it's come full circle. Your interaction with him, his interaction with me, but it wasn't me. It wasn't just me. So when we boots on ground, Afghanistan, and you talk about the 36-hour thing, dude, that was a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
That was, dude, what the F are we doing here? I don't know. That's a lot of him and I looking at each other. That's a lot of you and I looking at each other going,
you gained a lot of knowledge.
I don't know.
We
Yes,
did.
in a very, very like
In a short
day,
span.
in one day,
It's like a-
one day, 365th of a year, we learned a lot
Yes.
Oh yeah,
very quickly.
under pressure,
It was
but
insane.
keeping the cool.
And even then, we didn't have it all figured out because we were there for, the time we were there. We learned a lot along the way. But we were both me. So okay, so it's confusing because you were full time before me, and I was higher ranking, been in the military longer.
He doesn't hold a grudge for that.
I'm so fucking pissed about that.
Have fun in California, asshole.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Busted.
So like, it's just it gives a very good example from this is purely from my perspective. This is a very good example of how the guard can be where a lower ranking individual, purely on the scale of rank, a lower ranking individual can play a major part in your role when you are high ranking than them, if you allow them to be that role.
Mhm.
And that's how that was. I was able to look at myself and go, okay, I've been full time for a year. This is all like introvert. How do you say that? Like, this is all an internal process that I have, and this is just me. I can't speak for everybody. I was able to look inside and go, okay, here's an individual, Jaden, specifically Jaden Crump.
Last
He's-
name's out there now.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
He's been full time longer than you. Check. He's lower ranking than you. Check. I didn't take that into consideration.
Yeah.
It was just a thing that I'm just letting everybody know. Like, I feel like in any other situation, if somebody else was thrown in this situation, they'd be like, "Hey, you're like standard military. Like, you're a senior airman. You know what the fuck you're talking about." That kind
Or
of.
what date did you become senior airman?
Yeah,
You
that
know,
kind of
that
shit.
kinda
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's count
Yeah,
days.
Todd
Like,
knows.
you don't
yeah,
know
there.
nothing, But I relied heavily on him when I was brand new to the shop as a full timer. I've been in the military 8 years,
You have to take
9 years.
everything
at the
into
time.
consideration when you've got the group dynamics,
Yes.
and especially in going overseas like
Mhm.
that and having to fly the first day. Lots of things to take care of. Weapons above hazmat program. Just getting weapons, radios, programming C cells, all that kind of stuff.
It was.
But you analyze everybody as a person, and you don't let any one value go over top of another one.
Yes.
Different example, like
But
I know another.
I had some experience from Korea, which was you.
there you
You.
go. Yeah. So
Right.
There you go. You better mention me,
Yes.
boy. That's right.
no, so kind of, no, like going back to it. So I'm gonna go back a little bit here. So this place is in Afghanistan by any means. I'm not even
I
gonna
want your perspective.
Sure.
prepare.
It was
I'm not
in
gonna
Guam
pretend- I'm not gonna
once.
pretend. It is. It's absolutely
was
Guam.
Great.
It is Guam, but
Okay,
but it's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it's not talking to, like, obviously Afghanistan is much different environment.
Yeah.
I've been to Guam for 5 times, exceeding 15 months on those.
Okay, rub it in, bud.
So, but here's the thing:
I've never been there.
of those Guam trips, though, like the first time I went there, it was great. Learned a bunch of stuff. Second time I went there, showed up thinking like, I've already been here before and I know a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It was different.
Mm-hmm.
Third time, different. Fourth time, different. Fifth time, no matter how many times you go someplace, if you go to Afghanistan tomorrow, it's gonna be different.
I would perceive it 100% different.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's
And
different.
he's
Yeah,
talking
based
about
on
Guam
past-
with B2s.
B2s. So like when we're talking about
Yeah,
like
with fighters, it's way different, bud.
so like when you like when you're talking about like perspective, like I remember reaching back here like
See, I had no perspective.
yeah, like I don't know if it was Jordan or if it was Korea, but at one point like I remember like we were going someplace. It was probably Korea, And I remember I was prepping stuff for Korea. And at the time, I wasn't going to be the highest ranking person going, but Jim said, like, you're going to be in charge.
And I was a guardsman at the time.
You were a guardsman.
I was debating on getting out of
Yeah,
the
you were.
military.
And the thing is that
My ETS was during Korea, where I was like,
yeah,
nah, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was pulling a bunch of shit. Like I was building like a continuity folder for this deployment, and it was based off of like going to Guam, like things like my other deployments that I had ever gone on before.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
Experience.
Jim coming up and being like, you gave me like a letter that I had to send to like the OG to sign, and he was confused because he wasn't expecting it or something like that. Like
He wasn't expecting it from you?
yeah, like it was a perspective that we weren't expecting on it, and it was some like BS like hazmat appointment letter. I don't know. It was just some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, but the thing was, it was.
That needed to be had.
But it came back from like because I had gone on a whole bunch of trips. None of them were to Korea, but I had experience of going places, and I don't even know if what I was preparing for that the squadron commander OG had to sign ever became relevant to where we were going. But I had the experience that I was over prepared for it. And so like when you go to Afghanistan, like you went to Afghanistan, you guys gained a whole bunch of knowledge. If you go back there, well, obviously it'd be really weird right now, but you go someplace else right now. That's why like when people are like, when people are always like, it's like Afghanistan or like I went this, it's always going to be different. Even if you go to the same place twice, it's going to be different.
Yeah,
I-
Iraq 3 times. It
Yeah.
was different every
Every single time.
When we
That's the
got
thing.
there, it was like, and Lawrence was like, dude, you got to own your own programs, like blah, blah, blah. And we were like, yeah, whatever.
And
You
he's
know,
on
we
the
own
tail
our
end.
programs. And then I remember the first QA guy comes into us,
Active duty guy.
active duty.
Mhm.
Yep. He was out there for like 6 months, 180 days.
Nothing else to do.
And the guy who came up to us, and he come out, and there was this story. I don't remember the name of him. If you remember,
I remember his face. Don't
Yeah, I
remember his
remember
name.
his
Probably
face.
for good intentions. I
So-
remember his face. If I ever see him again, boy.
yeah. So he
You know what I
comes
mean?
out. He comes out, and he's like,
I don't remember it, but
yeah.
I know.
So this is kind of like the two instances I remember from him. I guess QA, right? Active duty QA,
Yeah.
and anyone in maintenance, anybody in AFE, I guess maintenance, AFE is basically the same thing, right? No. So,
Anyway.
so we both hold our own QA programs. So we have an AFE QA guy, quality assurance, and this dude comes in and he's holding QA from like 3 separate units in Afghanistan, in Kandahar, and Bagram, and one other unit I don't remember, undisclosed. But so he comes in and he's like, he tears our programs apart. That was my first opening of like, wow, we have to have not only home assets of programs, right? Home programs, but we also have to have deployed programs. So all of a sudden, we had to come up with who's the QA supervisor or program manager, you know, who is the technician training program manager, who's all of these program managers of these
When
different
deployed.
programs.
When deployed.
Yes, when deployed. Like who is all these people?
When just because you deploy doesn't mean it's like a time off from work.
Yes.
Like you still have these programs.
They
Yeah.
don't
You
leave
gotta-
stuff behind.
It was
Yes,
no
exactly.
TDY.
And
It was a
we didn't know that.
deployment.
I had no
I
idea.
would love to have been on this deployment.
Dude,
I know you would have.
I would've-
And honestly,
I would have been
and,
the thorn in that QA guy's
And
side.
honestly, there's a little bit throughout that trip that because we've joked. I mean, it's been years now, but we've joked like where it's like we tag teamed that trip. We tag teamed that trip, like not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at it literally, dude. I don't even think we talked about it. We literally just looked at each other and we knew in our eyes like we need to both.
You got a
we need-
problem,
we
you
need
got to
both-
fix it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We have a problem. We need to fix it. We both. It's weird, and this just kind of culminates the connection that we have, that you and I have. We can look at each other and go, something needs to change.
Yeah.
We need to make a change, and how do we do that? And
Yeah.
we never had that. We never like went into some room and go, well, we got this conversation we gotta have.
Yeah,
Let's work it
so
out here.
You're not gonna get that a lot.
We worked this
Right. We're
QA
like, I wouldn't
program
know
out,
better.
right? We worked this QA program out, and he was like, "Yep, you got to do this stuff, right?" So we did it. And I will say, our supervisor at the time, he said he assigned our programs. He did.
Everybody but himself.
And I didn't know what a fucking AFI meant. I didn't know any of that shit, but like I learned it real quick. And
we learned
so we did it. We did it. And it was all props to Brandon. Like he was able to like help us. It was.
No,
So
it wasn't,
anyway,
man.
anyways, he
So-
doesn't want
so
to
what
claim
you
it.
do
This
with
is
the-
this
with
is a
the-
working thing, man.
with-
We worked
exactly.
on each other. We worked with each other. We
The
did not.
dynamic that you had, and you've explained it more than once, the dynamic that you had,
Yeah.
you gave the ranking person the chance to act and speak, and you were there to back up. And when you did back up, you didn't undermine that person in that position.
Absolutely.
You learned a lot
Mm-hmm.
from that. What have we changed since then to prevent that from being the case in the future?
We've been a little more thoughtful on trips as far as who definitely defining who is the supervisor.
Who's the boss? I can say,
Yeah.
this is not, it's not Afghanistan, but like, again, it's going back to Guam. I'm a B2 guy in the past. So a lot of Guam references here, but I can see the flip side of the coin though, where you have an individual who is kind of like you two, who is put in charge involuntarily as well. So like I was there when the B2 crashed. And prior to that, like nobody else knows this except for Sean Coots, old superintendent of
Here
Vermont.
we go. We got juicy information here.
But like,
I know the guy he's talking about.
yeah, he dealt with a personal family issue
Yes.
early in that deployment, and he had to leave. And on that deployment, the second in command, the second highest ranking person was a senior airman. And fast forward, that was in
And
October.
that man was Todd Anderson.
No, that wasn't me though. It wasn't. It was actually cost money. St. Joe
Really? All right. Cost baby.
money. Yeah. So he was a senior airman, and that was October, November, early November, late October. And fast forward, what was it 2-3 months later? B2 crashes. Senior airman in charge. B2, first ever B2 crash. Like, you want to talk about crash course of learning, like how to be in charge.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Have the first
Yeah.
ever B2
Accident
crash,
investigation.
and you're
Yeah.
a senior airman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
like you guys gained a lot. He gained a lot on that.
Yeah.
I was technically number 2, and I was a senior airman. There was no like the title's a title. It was more like that's where we get to the data rank type shit. But like, you guys brought a lot of I wouldn't say a lot of experience. You brought experience from Korea that you didn't realize that was there.
Agreed.
to Afghanistan.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
It's one of those things that you don't know. You don't know until you.
Aftermath. Like I looking back now is like not to jump into what you're saying here, but like definitely I took what you presented in a very
You got to put your people in uncomfortable situations,
yeah.
and we can't baby our DSGs.
Sure.
Like you came out. I think it was a week or two before we went to Korea, and I remember we were working on NVGs, and it was like fixing NVGs.
Mhm.
And I stuck you in a room, and I said, "Read the TO and figure it out." And I knew how to do it because that's how I figured out how to do it. But the thing was, is that if I show you and I hold your hand along the way,
Yeah.
you're
Dude,
only gonna know my way.
yeah,
Night vision
yeah.
goggles, MBGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, night vision goggles.
C cells.
And the thing was is that you applied that
too. I mean,
you-
exactly like the same thing. Like I was a DSG with the survival radios. It's like the same thing. Like after Korea, I was still a DSG. I was farming. Literally, I remember sitting on the silage pile, packing silage, getting a phone call from a full timer asking about C-cell radios, and I'm
because
like,
we brought you in and said, you've got this
well,
program.
let me try to remember here. Right now, I'm trying to pack the silage pile and, XYZ and elemental P, and working out to help a full timer. And here I am, part timer. Like,
See, that's the same subject we've been talking about.
yeah, but going back to that point, like I didn't make you do that because that's how I learned, which is how I learned.
Yeah.
The reason I did that was because if you learn how to read the TO and figure it out yourself, you're able to do that on other things as well.
Right. Find your own way.
Find your own way.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
there's
I
a
agree.
lot of hand holding. There's a lot of guard. We've always done this way. Like, I don't know how to do this because nobody showed me exactly how to do this.
Yeah. So
And
when,
that's sorry, I don't.
No,
but
yeah.
that's flowed inadvertently. That has flowed from you to me to now you.
yeah. So when we were in Afghanistan, we had a situation where weekly we had to update spins, special instructions, and those were, they were survival. We had to update the C cells.
Yeah. Pitiful. It
Which
was-
were radios that had special capabilities to be able to basically take those special instructions, and we could load them onto those C cells, the radios, and the pilots would be able to have those in case of an accident, right? And so there was a situation in Afghanistan where weekly we had to update those because spins change every now and then. We have that QA person I was talking about earlier comes in, and again, we had never dealt with an active duty QA person. We had guard QA people.
He knew
who
what he
were
was
just
doing.
like,
He knew
"Oh."
he was doing something. He knew
Yes.
exactly what was going on.
And
so
you
we
know that's how us old guys got the experience was the exact same way.
Exactly.
So,
So
you're
That's
right in
we're
line.
blessed to
They-
be able to have this opportunity to be able to learn from this.
yeah.
And
And at
that
the
was
time-
the thing that was like, this QA person comes in and he goes, hey, did you guys have spins changed in the last 3-4 weeks? No, man, we got our intel.
No, it was
They're
like-
telling
it-
us.
No, it was like 48 hours.
Yeah.
And
They go, he goes,
hey,
he
you
goes,
catch that spins change? You
got that spins
yesterday
change?
or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
2 days ago?
yeah, we go,
Nope.
no, we haven't. Because we had coordinated with our,
Yeah, no shit. You know,
had
that's us
coordinated.
just going.
we had coordinated with our intel.
Bad.
We had
deal.
coordinated with our intel and our intelligence community, and they had said, yes, we will let you know. And it's not
Yep.
a fault on them
Exactly.
by any means. It is absolutely on us.
Just like
at
we
one
learned,
point.
just like we learned
Learned.
stuff on this trip, our intel from our unit learned things as well.
Yes, so we
it
learned.
was a joint learning experience that I hope in the future.
Yeah.
just
I
so
had that experience with
resonates.
1 year with the spins, and then the next trip, we talked about spins. Talked about spins. Talked about spins. Yep.
The
And we
strongest.
had the
Literally.
process down.
I mean,
exactly. Like
Them
we
and
had
us were both checking.
This
we
guy-
had spins,
Yeah.
and we knew what spins were. We knew how important it was when we're we're at war right now, and we're dropping live bombs on.
Of course, we're on point, bud.
Yeah,
Enemies.
and so this dude comes in and he goes, "Hey, your spins updated." And we go, "Yeah, they're updated, And he goes,
Hell
"You
yeah.
sure about that? You might want to check it."
Shit.
And we go,
As soon as they say that,
You
yeah,
sure
it's
about
game
that?
time.
Yeah.
Game time.
Yeah, we're
So we
the-
check
damn
it,
sure,
and
bud.
The irony
we're-
of this whole scenario, though, is that if either of you two were ever to be a QA guy to
Boom.
like the Middle East, you're going to become that guy who's like, "Hey, did you guys check your spins?"
yeah, you're fucked.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to hammer him.
Yep.
And then they say,
because
do you know
the
for
best
sure?
lessons you can learn is from the mistakes you made in the past.
Oh, but
Yep.
Yeah.
but I will still treat it a little bit differently than he did.
Oh yeah, there's
That's
always
that's
some
how it was.
tact
It was-
Well,
differences.
I've had
Yeah,
times like
tact,
that
yeah.
where people say, well, I would have handled that 1,000 different ways or 1,000 different ways. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But
So-
this situation that we just had warranted me losing my cool, and I will never apologize. So some of this leadership training you get, it's all good and dandy. But sometimes when you got to get a point across,
Oh, for sure.
you do it
Yes, exactly.
with the cowboy hat on.
Yeah, and like what you were getting to essentially was like that this individual he called us out. We didn't have it.
Right.
We were not up to date.
Yep.
And it was literally within like 24 hours, if I remember correctly. Something dropped in the spins, and
He knew.
He knew. He's like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna come over there and go, hey, are you aware of that?
That's what I'd have done.
Sounds to me like he
See,
should have
and
mentored
so
you guys
hindsight,
on
right?
that.
So like now, now moving forward, if we were to be in that same scenario with a shop and stuff, I would make sure that my individuals know, like he was kind of a dick, but
was.
also it's like I get it, but moving forward from then on out, we were on point. Like we need to fucking
Yeah.
trust but verify
Because the information that he was checking on, everybody in the entire combat theater
yes,
depends on that
Yes.
for an accident
yes,
and all that. So it was
But also-
extremely important.
But also with what he was saying, based on how he said it, well, we learned other elements that he probably wasn't aware of, where he thinks he had a gotcha type of thing. When you get in contact with like, I contact like the
JPRC.
JPRC in like Kandahar or
Yep,
whatever,
the Joint Personnel Recovery Center.
and they're like,
Our
well,
running acronym.
No,
Based over there.
we're feeling real crappy about how we're
I'm a
feeling
little slow.
we're feeling real crappy. Like damn, we're letting our guys down. We fucked up. We fucked up. Damn it, we weren't checking this. And I literally called the dudes in Kandahar, and they're just like, yeah, I mean they cover that frequency for like a week, and I'm like, we would have caught it then by then. What the hell, like?
But boom,
You know, but
it was
still,
a
so
That's
you
the
get
stuff
you
you
get a
don't-
double dose of
Yeah.
understanding of
Yeah.
like it's very important to check these things to get ahead of the game, but also if you are aware that if you miss something, it is not the end of the world. You will still have you'll have time. So a week, 7 days, that's very quick in a combat environment.
Unless somebody on their end screws up.
Exactly.
So
right?
that's what
like,
keeps you in check with
and that's a whole nother layer, right?
Yeah.
But like in that instance, when I called them and contacted them about this issue, I learned something and pushed it down to everyone else. Like, wow, okay, that individual came in and said we were effing up. We don't know what we're doing, right? We feel like pieces of shit, dude. I feel like we felt like dirt bags after that, staff sergeants, and then with that and being thrown under the bus by our own individuals. And
Defeats the whole point there, by the way. The learning, the whole point.
Yeah,
there.
it sticks
Teaching-
with you.
You learned.
sticks with
You
you.
learned
Yes,
a
yes.
whole different lesson
Yep.
than what you should have
huge,
learned.
huge learning experiences.
After all that, the details go away
yes,
and you learn.
we got weekly.
it was very natural.
More than
Very natural. I
like
don't fucking know.
more frequent than weekly briefings of what we were actually doing there, right? Because it was, I have a
Yeah, we had
cousin.
weekly briefings.
I have a cousin who really struggled with this, and it's not easy to see the happenings of what's going on at the time there. It was not easy to see if you are very knowledgeable of the situation and if you're very knowledgeable about what is actually going on there at the time.
It was busy.
It was busy.
I saw the reports.
Yeah, and it was not easy to see that shit sometimes.
We
to
saw
some
the
people.
videos.
Yeah, like it was really difficult sometimes, and we saw our actual work that we're doing means shit because
Oh my God, yeah.
it's not it's no longer well, we have a C cell that is it's not updated with the weekly spins. Are you sure about that? Or is it updated?
Yeah.
Hey man,
The significance behind it.
this shit, like that dude would have popped out for whatever reason.
Yeah. Did
Your shit actually matters for once.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's the whole
did
point.
you ever have that in your career of like,
Shit matters.
well, yeah, shit matters, but also like the
importance.
the importance is and like the because yeah, you're exactly
Reality.
right. Like the reality, yes, that's a very good way of putting it. Like the reality was like, holy shit, like we got to do things on a weekly time base, and if we don't, we are.
I mean, yeah,
we are up shit creek without paddle.
a little different version of it, but like being on the B2 side, everything's like,
Literally, as
it's
wide eyes as I
every-
am right now, like it was like, wow, like
Mhm.
it's speechless. It's speechless.
a lot of the B2 stuff is like you don't hear until after the fact, like, and it's very hush hush. Like everybody knew, like everybody's bombing the shit out of people in Afghanistan and the Middle East during that period of time.
Prove it.
But like when we are launching aircraft from Missouri to go blow up Libya 32 hours before it actually happens or whatever it is.
No way.
Like it's kind of a weird feeling, but like Swift, we did Swift Spirit. That was 07, I think, 06, something like that. And that's when we were going to kill Bin Laden the first time. Yeah, I'm old. I dated myself. Go for it. No, yeah, there's a feeling like we talk about radios and we're talking about a lot of technical AFE type. We're getting kind of some of the nuts and bolts of that. There's a lot of like when we did Swift Spirit, like I didn't even know what we were doing there. Nobody knew what we were doing there except for the people that needed to know. And
I have something to say to that later.
and so like we had a technical difficulty beyond our control on that really affected our aircrew. Like you guys, what people don't realize is that like when the F-16s are in Afghanistan blowing up people, that's after like the B-52s and B-2s have already gone on and blown away the air defenses of the entire country first. You know?
Initial strike.
So like we were sending B-2s into an area where they could like there's air defenses still there. And we couldn't load radios. We had difficulties with computers. And so we actually had to go into like the mission planning thing while the pilots who were actually about to go fly and do that were getting their briefings and stuff and load radios. And like, they were like, just cover your ears. like pay no attention to what's going on.
Yeah, right.
Type of deal.
Yeah.
And so like
Same
we were
lane.
loading these radios and stuff and GPSs based off of things while the very air crew that were doing this TS level stuff were sitting right there. And it wasn't until like we knew coordinates.
Yeah, that puts importance on your job.
It does. And then like I remember after
When
the
someone says, "Hey, cover your ears,"
cover your ears. Like you're not supposed
that's
like
pretty important.
That's
I'd
the
say.
do what you got to do.
do what you got to
situation.
do
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly,
Like, and so
yeah.
like I
Game
remember
time.
Game time,
specifically
yes.
like we finished that up as the sun was coming up, and we went to go grab some breakfast after the fact, and we walked in the
Just another
BX
day.
just another day, just going to kill like Bin Laden, you know, and we walked into the BX and like I knew coordinates. I didn't know what we were doing there though.
Yeah.
And then
Because you did your part.
I did my part.
Need to know.
And I put two and two
Yeah,
together,
that's
and
true.
I saw a globe. Weird. There's this huge globe at the front of the BX, and I walked over, and I just, and I figured that's how I figured out where they were going. I had knowledge in my head, and I took it to a map, and I was like, interesting.
Yep, and you kept it to
And
yourself.
I kept it to myself. And I shouldn't have even probably known to that degree of what was going on, but that was where we were at. And it never did happen. There was a lot of factors that played into it. But we had to adapt on that. Like none of us knew how to, like, I think the highest ranking was a staff sergeant at the time that was with us.
See, all this is like a particle of, we're always, I feel like in AFE, we might be a little bit more vigilant of what we do, I guess, because we're able to do sear and we're able to do, you know, like we're able to, we deal with secret information all the time, but
I wouldn't go that far.
always, oh, we
Well,
do,
I mean,
we do.
jack of all trades, right?
We do. Like when
So-
it comes to no shit wartime scenarios, we're dealing with secret information all the time. And it is like, you might think like, "Ah, I gotta inspect this fucking helmet again. You know, I gotta do this. I gotta, what the, this.
Every job has routines.
Yes, it's a routine constantly and yada yada. And like when we get down to it, we actually make it like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to make it sound cheesy, but like every job in the Air Force actually makes a difference in one way or another.
A lot of people we train to do this stuff, they don't realize how they're going to utilize it. Like they come to guard drill and they utilize it to the degree that we assign it to them.
Yeah.
You know, when they go down range and they're put into some sort of conflict or whatever real war thing, that shit it gets pulled up like that. That's where that training comes into play. Like you're not planning to like be a SME at like loading radios and making a decision. Commander comes in and said, "Hey, do this, this, and this." Like, what do we do here? Like, you're not like trained to that.
Yeah.
Like, I know the answer,
Right.
but they pulled out that experience that they gained and stuff like that.
There was many instances, I guess, where it was like, you know, you get aircrew come down and they were stressed, you know,
For sure, yeah.
they just, I
With
mean,
good
they
reason.
might have, like
Oh,
I
yeah.
said before, yeah, they'd done some stuff that they may or may not have, I shouldn't say agree with, but they may or may not have like,
Moral
There-
conflictions.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
and
one day,
you don't talk to them. It's not like in the shop where you can, hey, dude, what's up?
Right.
How was your flight? You know, like how was like what'd you do? You know, it wasn't like that. And there was instances where, I should say there was one instance where we had a mortar come down on us, and we had a pilot who was the supervisor of flying at the time, and he wanted accountability for everyone, right? And so we're like, dude, we're on our shifts, you know, like we got 3 people here, we got 3 people there, and like in between those shifts, dude, there's no, they're in their bed, right? And there was a lot of miscommunication, and we had got our asses chewed, to say the least, because we didn't have proof of that. But that, you know, as much as I want to, as much as I want to just, you know, I could take that and I could be pissed about it the rest of my life, you know. But like, that was the seriousness of what we were doing there.
It shows you the seriousness.
yes.
And
Well,
then,
yeah,
you
it
take it
did.
to heart.
Well,
did.
it was a great example. Was like I said, I wasn't the supervisor of the trip, and that was something that happened while I was off shift, and you just took it upon yourself, like I have to do this, right? I'm not trying to speak for you, but like you took that upon yourself, like, because I came on shift the next shift because we're 24-hour operations, and you're like, tell me the story, and I'm just like, you did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You did nothing wrong.
Right.
The way he responded, the member and this and that, like you did what you had to do. You said what you had to say, and like you got to understand, like over there, like yeah, everyone has a cell phone. Yeah, but there's not cell service. It's all Wi-Fi. It's all Wi-Fi.
Right.
Mhm.
You got to go back to the
people are sleeping.
worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh, I'm not getting a response from these 10 people. Yeah, they're probably sleeping. They're on the off shift of what we're doing right now.
But where they're sleeping, is that still a combat zone?
Right.
The answer is yes.
Are they probably sleeping? Or
Probably.
are they
Yes.
But you need to
maybe
find
going
out.
to the
You're
BX?
not
Or
gonna
are they
worry
maybe
about waking them up.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
So-
where are
if they're going to the BX, I don't know.
Mhm.
They are not at work, and that's weird. That was a weird thing, but also like a learning experience of like, oh damn, like yeah, okay, you're right. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they are not on shift. but they could be doing something else. I have no inclination
Right.
as to where they are right now.
That's why they have
Boom.
to count for everybody.
right.
Boom, learning
All right,
experience.
so what I'm going to do right here is if anybody is still watching this, kudos to you.
Yes.
This has been the first, like I said, the first podcast that wasn't a practice one at the bar, and we're in the hog house, and I need to still make a video of just kind of giving a tour of this place, and we've got a studio back here yet too, but Jaden's leaving us. And it's a sad and a happy occasion. We've portrayed that earlier, and we're gonna bring this to a close by whatever you want to say to him, and then you, and we're gonna close her up. So, Todd.
Oh, you want to start with me, huh?
Yep.
Good riddance.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Busted.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't want to reiterate that. Make the most of what you're going to gain from this. Like, it's going to be different. Maybe slower, maybe faster. It doesn't matter. There's always something positive to gain from it, and there's always, whether you want to come back or choose to come back or whatever it be, it can only be better. Perspective is key here. So, wish you the best on it. Hopefully, I personally would like to see you come back, but I would not blame you if it's a change that you and your family decide that it's the best thing. So,
All right. Thank you, Todd. How about you, Brandon? What's few words you got for him? I love you, Brandon.
You know, it's hard.
You can tell this is family. You can tell it's family. My wife and I have had many conversations between relationships with friends at work and what's going on, Brandon. There is no shame in that because the people that we work with in the military and the Guard are the people that you deploy with and go overseas with. So I think I finished that for you, Brandon. What you're showing says it all. We really appreciate it.
No.
All right.
Yeah,
Your turn.
It is like I said before, it's not something that's something, everybody has driving forces out of their position and whatnot. And this is not one of those by any means. It's a simple detour, I guess.
Yep.
And that's it's really fucking hard because I mean, it just it has been really, really, really good the last few years. And believe me, if it were just simply up to me, it would be, I'm going to stick it out till like possibly forever, you know? And, but it's right for my family and it isn't. I really, really hope I can come back someday and I can continue to just be along with this family. Because it's a Guard family and everybody loves each other. I met a dude today. I never heard of him in my life, and it was like we were friends initially, like years ago, and it was just like, you're a good man, like that's just a Guard family.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, I will say some things. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted. I'm both. It's hard to talk about. 'Cause I've talked to my wife recently about this whole situation, and I just want to say that it's funny. It's funny. I like to reference things in a sense of comedy throughout my life, but it's funny that an individual can come into your life and you run into them, and it's like that brother that you never knew you needed or had.
Mm-hmm.
And I have friends I grew up with, like, in the same sense. And I don't know. Even when you do leave, I will not come to terms with it. You are. God, it's hard. It's
It is.
I'm gonna just
the
write
words
his
are
ass
very
up.
difficult. The words are very difficult, but I'm at the other end. Like I talked to my wife about this stuff. I'm so happy for you guys.
Absolutely.
God, I don't want you to leave.
Well, that's why I was talking earlier. We travel. We have the 2021 Traverse. All this stuff, we'll either take it with us or we won't, and we'll go out and see him.
We'll just write his ass up when he's out there so much that they fire him and he has to come back to us.
I just know that I hope that in the future, whatever endeavors you have, professional or personal, you can reach out.
Oh, yeah. We talk about communication all the time, good and bad, so we're not going to lose touch.
I mean, I just being with you along the way, man. Seen a thing.
You bet.
Seen a few things here and there, so I'm always here.
Right. I know. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna close this up as just you can see the closeness. Like I said, speaking with my wife, socializing with people you work with on the civilian side is way different than on the military side. And there's always ups and downs. There's always goods and bads. You always have shop dynamics. But we are going to live on, and we're going to make the group as big as we can. We're going to live on hog house dynamics. Yeah. And so, Jaden, it's just been a pleasure meeting you. I knew you're a quality individual right off the bat.
Everyone is excited. Everyone is so excited for you.
Yes. And on the side of us having to watch you lose your mom right when you were coming in was hard for everybody. And you've come through with shining colors, quality individual. You got an awesome wife, and you're going to go out to California and have a great time. And mark my words, none of us are going to lose touch.
Good.
No, hell no, dude.
I love you guys.
I
too.
promise that.
All
There's
right.
no way in hell I will let this die.
All right.
That was That was a perfect opportunity to do the wah, wah.
All right.
God
Take
damn
care.
it.
Thanks for tuning in. And then practice turning, looking at each of us.
Oh, hey there. How you doing? Oh, hey there. How you doing? Here I am. Sound good?
Okay. How about
Is that
you?
right?
Yeah, I guess when you turn your chair, it kind of automatically does that.
Yeah,
doesn't
it kind
it?
of works. As long as you kind of pivot
Mhm.
like that.
focus on this right here, talking over it, not into it.
Yeah. Okay, you talk a little more.
Test.
Okay.
Test one.
Yeah, you're a little farther away, but the level's looking pretty good. So.
Okay.
All right, Todd.
What do you got? I got like a really scratchy voice. I don't like listening to my own voice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you sound like shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Many people that have been on these say they don't like the sound of their voice.
I'm like Dr. Dre of these podcasts here.
See, and that's because you always hear yourself through your bones and your
Yeah.
flesh and everything else. So when you hear a recording or this, you're hearing what you really sound like.
I sound like I'd be a good drug dealer in a movie or something like that.
Why do you think I always like to come into your office and listen to you talk?
Dime bag.
Show me the money.
All right, and there's a few sound effects on here too, so I'll be looking at levels and that kind of stuff.
That's my favorite one.
That's great. I think zing.
I'm gonna be like, I'm
I'm
gonna reference my grandma. I'm gonna reference my
Just-
grandpa dying, and I expect you to hit that.
Okay. What we'll do is I just in the intro and all that stuff, I do that on the editor. So here I just start out with a quick little voice intro, introduce you guys, and then we just go from there.
I gotta sit in between these two assholes. Jeez.
Hold on.
My name's Brandon and I'm a alcoholic.
Wait.
I gotta spill my drink first. All right.
Okay, so this has been recording the whole time. Those should be good.
Oh, perfect.
So
Blooper reel. Oh yeah.
I'm just going to get us a little start here, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Jaden, Crump, Brandon, Todd.
You forget our names there? or
Forget
what?
his name.
James Bradshaw.
Dementia signs.
Oh, man.
You
Okay,
sure you want to do this?
here we go.
It's game time.
If this doesn't make it to the internet, we understand why, right? We're all in agreement to that right now.
The over/under is on 5
Let's go
minutes
with
of
the
usable
premise that
footage.
we want it to.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
okay.
good.
That way.
There we go.
All right, here we go. So we've talked about risk, and we've talked about change and learning things. Jaden's going to tell us about Riverside, what that mission is, how that came about, and what you're going to do with it.
I think we should
Hey,
take a
real
pee
quick.
break.
Got to take a break?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
was gonna say because
we'll leave it
you guys
running.
want to,
and-
if you guys,
No, we're just going to all take a break, and then we'll
All
be
right.
back.
All right.
See, I never finished. Told you.
of how I got the guard.
Todd's mic is more out.
We're up to the medieval time.
I better go too, just in case. You never know.
Figured you saw how I had to divert there a little bit.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there looking cool.
Like, hey man, I'll let you talk. You're doing great.
I feel like I'm hogging up the airtime there.
No, but
I like you guys interjecting though into the middle.
Yeah, I know, but like, think about it. Like compared to our experiences.
not now. We gotta
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, compared to Jaden and I,
keep it in the podcast.
you got more experience and
We're
more
talking about
like.
format of how to do it. Like I like.
You're not trying to
mine
be
is
like
longer drawn out because you guys are jumping in with your experiences similar to or experiences in that.
But literally, Jaden and my experiences with the military is like, I joined the Air Guard.
Yeah.
You have-
I'm in the air guard. Next question.
You have the like, your active duty, like literally everything you said. There's shit that you said tonight that I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know that.
That's what's
The when you guys are talking about, like, I genuinely was curious, like, how the fuck did Todd come back, or how did you get here from active duty? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That to me is just like, because we wouldn't be here today. Todd wouldn't be here today. He wouldn't have come back. Like, there's just so many small little things that.
Right.
I was reading how much I wanted to go into talking about that with you.
Oh, that's no big deal.
Jimbo was having an aneurysm.
Well, no, not at all.
No, it's good. It is really good.
Mistaking that aneurysm for never mind.
I don't know, where did we cut out there? What were we talking about?
I was just leaving. We're going to come back to your stuff, and we're going to go to the.
No more. We'll come back to your stuff. You can finish.
How I got here, part 2.
Is that alright if I polish off this bottle of Crown?
Yeah, that's what it's there for, is to throw it away.
Oh,
I already
One
know
military
that.
man, one more dead soldier.
Like I'm telling you, Jimbo, you're getting a thank you from us. So.
Not necessary.
Well,
It is necessary.
if I were a lesser man, I wouldn't give a shit.
this is guys, I don't think you can be.
You know, I'm gonna fucking back you sideways. How about?
When I started this camera and I looked at how much recording time we have on there, 9 hours, so we're good.
Oh, that was another
perfect.
thing I was kind of well.
Use it all.
Crown.
Two things I thought about was that how much recording time we actually have, so we're not like rushing or whatever, but like the time you have to take to edit stuff later.
Oh, yeah.
But you
I
probably
usually,
get a joy in
wake up
that.
in the
So
morning. I have fun with that stuff. This is going to be different too, because this is the first one besides the practice ones, like I said, not only at the bar but with 4 people,
Yeah.
and it's more lively and things.
I want to talk about that stuff. I want to keep whatever we're talking about here on the podcast because that's cool, man.
you need to start,
I
you need to
I
keep
like-
poking in some more. How about?
I like how the,
Yep, boy,
I like how
can't hear
I
you
like how
back
the
there.
flow is going of somebody's. Yeah, at this point, it seems like it's a lot of me because I've been eating a bunch of airtime. But like, I like the way it's like bring up something and then piping in with perspective or examples. Like I like how that's flowing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going really well.
Yeah.
Once you come forward just a hair.
Yeah. I don't talk anyway, Jim.
Yeah, that's why you're going next.
I
Yeah, let's
will.
talk about Jaden now.
Oh
I
god.
will
can't
say
wait
that this
for
has
him to
been
leave.
really eye-opening because, like we talked about before, how I hear myself talking
Yeah.
is
You sound beautiful in the mic.
it sounds so much different. It sounds so much different than when on the mic. Like
I
Yeah,
thought,
and
you
you
know-
got to have these in
Yeah.
and those on to
Right.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I thought, like I don't know if you heard me say earlier, like I was like, you were doing your mic test, and I'm like, yeah, it's like the white Morgan Freeman. Scratch that. We got the white Morgan Freeman right here.
no, I have
You just read me a book, audio book.
I have a very
like a little
scratchy
kid's-
Yeah, I
voice
fell
that I
asleep
didn't know
an
was
hour
there. Like I never knew it. I never knew that my voice.
Jaden just woke up.
Like nobody's ever told me that I
still
had
going.
like a scratchy voice. Like I was oblivious to that.
I mean,
It's kind
it's funny because like when you're on with this, it sounds more of the like scratchy, raspy or whatever. But when you're talking like when we talk normal day to day stuff, you do sound a little more scratchier on this, but it's not like
when I'm
bad or
chewing
anything.
Jake's ass out, I turn into like
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
All right.
Looking at me.
We're gonna go ahead and get
Am I a
going
clown
again
to
here.
you?
So
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
I'm gonna go to California while you're out there. That's
You
what I'm trying to
fucking
say.
bet.
Hey,
I'm going out there
Jimbo,
next
I'm
week with
hey,
him.
If you guys want
line
to
it
go,
up with me. I'll figure it out. Do what
do
I
it.
gotta do.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, you got a lot of things. Got a lot of stuff on the side
I
here.
need-
I only have
All right,
3
I can
kids.
make it happen.
I need
Hey,
Brandon to stay in the shop, so
wanna get knocked
you and
out?
I will go out there.
Kids, man.
I'll knock you out on live
Bad for
television.
kids.
I know somebody knows how to
All
get
right,
fake
time
IDs,
out.
and we'll just get you one that says Brandon Lynch.
intermission number 2.
DTS will cover it.
That's fucking. This is
I
good.
literally just said.
This is
What
good.
did you just say?
Something about a.
somebody that can get fake IDs. You're gonna go out.
This is good, Jim. This is really good.
I'm glad you didn't fucking. I almost said intervention.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
This
glad
is
you
really
did
good.
a whatever. What's called an interim.
Just fucking.
We're gonna have to change. We're gonna have to move on to some other. Take this or shit. I can't hear much because I leave these fuckers in. Because they're hard to get in.
Jim, this is.
You got
this
a
is
lighter?
good.
Yeah,
Matt.
Acetylene torch,
I
matches.
got matches right over there.
Perfect. Jim, this is good.
Isn't this fun?
This is fucking good.
Now, I've done. This one will probably be number like 14.
Yep.
And I've been really looking forward to the liveliness of more than me and one other person.
Yeah.
Is that why you wanted us?
Absolutely.
He says that.
You some bitch.
Wow, this is good, man. This is
Because we're a
good.
bunch of fucking
I
water
like
guys that
people are
don't know
gonna-
any better.
People are gonna like watching this, I think.
Yes. This
Well,
is
when
good.
you get
And we do it for us, not
Yeah.
for anybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah, literally right now, as I'm doing this, I'm like, I even fucking forgot I had headphones on
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's
People
literally.
that- first they'll say they don't like the cameras or they're afraid of the cameras. Once you start talking, they're gone.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
lights are gone.
it's four dudes just chit chatting and BSing and fucking
Yeah,
being
yeah.
real with real people.
And
with
it's
each
good
other,
because, like,
right?
I mean, I'm not trying to be weird or whatever.
No, me
but, like,
neither.
it's really good to be like,
Like
I got a prior
You're-
supervisor
It
here.
is real.
That's like,
Yes.
that's like, I
It's
can,
very
we can
real.
talk, you know?
you're saying something,
Yeah.
and you got 2-3 other people going, I'm gonna react to that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying shit to like, oh, this would be good for the camera. This would
Oh,
be
yeah.
good. This would be
I
good for
just
Jimbo.
forget about that.
Jimbo already knows
Yeah.
what's good for Jimbo.
Yeah.
So what liquor are we switching to now since we're done with
I
cranberry?
don't know.
I got some Morgan. I got some stuff called Angel's Envy that's
Oh, shit.
was donated.
Is it whiskey?
That's a little bit of pricey stuff. You need to try.
Well,
that.
I don't want to.
No. It was a gift. People,
Oh, okay. Well,
People
man,
like
you,
your
you
girl.
didn't buy it all drinking, Jim.
you're a Jack guy.
Yeah.
You need
And
a
remember I
great,
told you that I don't like storing bottles
you know.
empty?
I keep fingers.
When I give it to Tucker.
Every partial bottle
Ricky.
out here, because they look better displayed that way,
Yeah.
has Jack in it.
Are you not a Jack guy?
I'm not a Jack guy.
No
People,
shit.
Years ago, people would leave it. So if you grab, like that Pendleton,
Yeah.
that's Jack. in it. I told you years ago.
I do remember that. I
Wait,
forgot about
did
that.
you put Jack in there?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
make it look like aesthetic?
Yeah, because I don't want them all empty.
What?
And it won't
I didn't know that. Oh, wait.
Yeah, there's bottles over there, got Jack in them.
That's fucking great thinking.
Here, Jim,
One
question.
guy.
Have you had a podcast yet? You
No.
have talked less than you have tonight.
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah, because I've done some where I hardly even talk, the first hour.
Alright, well, stop talking
One was my, I've got an uncle that went from the Air Force to Army. Who does that? And he got 2 tours of Vietnam out of it.
I will say.
But the
I
first
feel like
hour,
you're just
he
watching all
just
the time.
talked.
I feel like you're just sitting there watching.
Oh, I'm enjoying the shit out of
I
it.
was fucking
I
love
hope
this.
so.
Man.
Hey,
I love it.
hey, just remember, Jim, you wanted us here. You wanted this to happen, man.
No, this is a lot of fun, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Dude, I will say,
I like the bantering.
if you wanted to do any more practice rounds, I could go all day. Oh, man.
This shit is fun.
This is a lot of fun. Man. I can see where you get it. I'm not gonna lie.
It is fun. This is what I got on the Pat Tracy
Fucking,
Portland, Oregon podcast.
here it is.
Well, I don't wanna take that. I'll
Last
take-
time I was out there, they gave me
I like
some
my
Pendleton.
Cottage Grove sheep.
I've been drinking that the entire night, so I'm gonna try to get to the old
This
Jack.
mine? Must be.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Dude, those are a lot rougher than that river.
Yeah.
So I guess well, I mean we're off camera, but I am curious. What I ran for my truck, so I'm waiting. Yeah, I did. It was sitting here the whole time. I was like, did I fucking drop it? What made you think of bringing all 3 of us on instead of just like me or just Todd or just Jaden or just Todd and Jaden or you know what I mean?
Because the first 11 or 12 had just been me and one other person.
Okay.
And you can tell the difference in dynamic between that and what we got here. I mean, there's somewhere I haven't done any of the sound effects. I knew tonight I was going to do a shitload of them. And when you guys are laughing.
It is awesome.
You're on point. You're on point.
Alright, let's do this.
He's the
Let's do
closest
this.
compared to us, I believe. But
Got it down.
This is
And I
fun.
can sleep in.
This is fun.
So can all of us.
That is
I
true.
like-
That was an off day.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh,
Veterans
everybody's
Day.
off tomorrow for
Yeah.
Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
Got it.
Right, Brandon?
That's another reason why we picked tonight, Jimbo. So I hope I didn't intervene with your.
No, not at all.
You're sleeping in time.
Chip, this camera's got another 7 hours left.
This is great, man.
I'm really glad.
This one's got 4 3/4 hours left.
There's
And that
no
one's
way.
got 5 hours left.
There's no way we go that long.
No.
That would.
I disagree.
Oh,
Is that a
God.
challenge?
Let's just
Challenge
leave
accepted.
Todd on the mic and we might make it.
Dang.
I never did finish my whole story, by the way.
I never did finish
I
college.
gotta find the Price is Right thing. Yeah.
That's been our thing lately. Is the
My own kids are doing that now. I was playing Chutes and Ladders the other night with my
Little strong?
my son and daughter,
Do you have it all the way full so you can't
They like it.
weed it down a little?
and my
Get over here.
That's pretty good.
my son hit a chute on Chutes and Ladders,
Yeah.
and my 7-year-old daughter goes, "Bang, bang, bang, bang."
No way. I really, really hope I can come back someday and I can continue to just be along with this family. Because it's a guard family, and everybody loves each other. I met a dude today. I never heard of him in my life, and it was like we were friends initially, like years ago, and it was just like, you're a good man, like that's just a guard family.
You know, it's funny that an individual can come into your life and you run into them, and it's like that brother that you never knew you needed or had.
Mm-hmm.
And I have friends I grew up with, like, in the same sense. And, I don't know, even when you do leave, I will not come to terms with it. You are, God, it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
God, I talked to my wife about this stuff. I'm so happy for you guys.
Absolutely.
God, I don't want you to leave. You need to
Mark my
function up.
words. None of us are going to lose touch.
Good.
No, hell no, dude.
I love you guys.
I
Love you guys, too.
promise that.
All
There's
right.
no way in hell I will let this die.
All right.
That was That was a perfect opportunity to do the wah, wah, wah.
All right. Take
Damn
care. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
God damn it. It's prying on me.
Dust in my eyes.
Prying on my fucking...
Connect my eyeball.